77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Sid and Friends in the morning.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Sid. Hi.
Oh, God, don't be sorry. You kidding me?
No, I'm wrapped up in these meetings on peace. And I said, it's between peace and Sid Rosenberg. And I said, let's take Rosenberg, okay? So...
Mamdani unveiling his 2027 budget proposal.
Okay, and while it erases the city's $12 billion budget deficit, it does include some controversial cuts.
Fox 8's Morgan Mackay is live at City Hall with all the details. Morgan.
Hey, Steve and Natasha. So Mayor Zohran Mamdani's budget plan he released officially closes the city's budget gap without raising property taxes and without draining the city's reserves. Now, this is in large part due to Governor Kathy Hochul, who swooped in to provide the city with an extra $8 billion in extra revenue and savings over the next 2 years. Now, Mamdani had threatened to raise property taxes and drain the city's reserves if state lawmakers didn't hike taxes on millionaires and corporations. Now, this threat was dead on arrival in the city council, but 3 of the largest credit rating agencies also warned that they might downgrade the city's bond rating as a result of Mamdani's threat, which would have significantly impacted the city's ability to borrow money. But Mamdani instead was able to get Hochul to agree to a pied-à-terre tax on second homes worth more than $5 million, which they are estimating will generate $500 million a year. However, not only do many experts say that this is a generous estimate, this tax also still hasn't been written and it still hasn't been approved by state lawmakers. But Mamdani is still claiming it as a win for his tax-a-rich campaign pledge.
Yes, I see this as a win, not just for our administration, but for the city of New York. A win to ensure that the city is back on firm financial footing, and it's doing so by taxing the rich, by creating a fairer relationship with Albany.
Now, Hochul announced that the state will now be giving the city almost $8 billion in extra revenue and other cost-saving measures over the next 2 years. This includes allowing the city to delay its class size mandate, which requires the city to hire additional teachers for smaller class sizes. This should save the city about $500 million. It also includes allowing the city to delay pension payments, which should save around $2.2 billion over the next 2 years. Mamdani also appointed chief savings officers at every city agency, which he says found $1.77 billion in savings. These savings include cutting contracts, modernizing technology, and giving up unused spaces. Now, Mamdani briefed both city and state lawmakers about his budget plan this morning. City Comptroller Mark Levine warned that some of these cost-saving measures are only temporary fixes.
We've avoided drawing down on reserves at least, which would have really been unfortunate considering the environment. There still is a reliance on a number of one-shot measures, and those are tools that are then going to be off the table next year.
Now, the city council must vote on this budget before July 1st.
Do you know Ken Griffin, Mr. President?
I do.
I figured you did because he's a very successful man, a great man just like you. And he wants to do a $6 billion project right here on Park Avenue. And who loves Park Avenue more than you? And you've got the mayor, this guy outside of his residence, and he does a whole film. And Ken Griffin goes above and beyond the fact that he just humiliated me. And I'm a billionaire looking to spend money in New York City. It's unsafe. He's doing a video from the front of where I live. And now Ken Griffin is thinking about taking that $6 billion project for a city, President Trump, that's $5.4 billion in debt, and taking that to Miami. How does that make sense?
Well, I do know Ken, and Ken's an amazing businessman, one of the best, and you don't want to lose people. He also pays a lot of taxes, like me. Right. We pay a lot of taxes, and you know when you lose people like that, it's sort of not recoverable. Always you say something's recoverable, right? But it's not recoverable. Then they build something else. They're going to be there for 30 years. They don't come back, and you You've got to do the opposite. You've got to cherish them. You got to bring them to the office. You got to meet them. You have to have dinner with them. You have to convince them not to leave. You're going to make their life great. You're going to help them with their building, with their project. You got to do it. And I don't know, it's not hard to do, but maybe it is for some people. But you don't want to lose people like Ken. That would be a big loss for New York.
Liberal Jews, where are your friends? Do you have any? Any allies, perhaps? Yesterday, the New York Times ran this absolutely disgusting, obviously false story about Israeli prison guards raping Palestinian prisoners with dogs. Now, you know it's not true, but you still had to hand-wring and say, oh, you're so worried about this, and you hate Netanyahu too. That's nice. Where are your friends? Where are your friends once you realize that this is all a bunch of BS? Where are they to say, wow, that story is actually really harmful to Jews around the world, because when you spread lies like that, Jews inevitably get hurt. But okay, you're obviously all too weak and scared to criticize the New York Times. Yesterday, there was yet another Islamist riot in Brooklyn. They marched through a Jewish neighborhood and assaulted Jewish children. Any comments about that, perhaps? I know hate has no home here, as Bill de Blasio used to say, but of course, hate does have a home in Brooklyn. Hate enjoys its home in Brooklyn very much. Hate gets to bash on Jews in Brooklyn regularly, and no one says anything, because, well, they don't look like you. I get you're super worried about being seen as an icky Trump supporter, to ask questions like, should we deport these violent people on our streets? But again, where are your friends to say this is wrong? Can they manage anything at all? You spent 100 years aligned with Democrats, and all you have to show for it is one Fetterman? Conservative non-Jews are all over my feed talking about this. Where are your people? And I know this is when you're like, well, what about Tucker Carlson? Yeah, we have one mentally deficient podcaster. You have an entire silent Democratic Party. Yeah, tons of people on the right have spoken out against Tucker. Podcasters, influencers, politicians, the president. Now you go. Who has spoken out for you? No. The problem is that your ongoing allegiance with people who despise us hurts us all. It allows violence to happen against us all because you're all so quiet about it, and you don't hold your allies to any kind of standard about speaking out for you. You want this story to move on so you can feel comfortable on the left again. They don't want you. Wake up. Don't kid yourself. You're going to have to give up a lot more than your timid support for Israel.
And at this hour, President Trump is on his way to China, the war in Iran overshadowing his high-stakes summit with President Xi. At the White House earlier, the president pressed about the stalled talks with Iran and insisting he doesn't need President Xi's help in ending the war. ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce in Beijing tonight.
Tonight, President Trump setting off for China, a trip he had already postponed once because of the war in Iran.
But this is going to be a very exciting trip. A lot of good things are going to happen.
Trump had hoped to arrive in China victorious over Iran, with momentum to fuel new deals on trade and technology. Instead, the war is at a standstill. On Capitol Hill, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham warning the president to remember China is one of Iran's closest allies.
Does China buy 90% of Iranian oil, Ms. Secretary?
China buys a very large percentage of
Iranian oil. 90% is pretty large. So President Trump, when you go to China, realize that the person you're talking to is propping up Russia and Iran.
Trump insists he doesn't need Chinese President Xi's help to end the war.
We're going to have a long talk about it. I think he's been relatively good, to be honest with you.
And with the president had high hopes for this trip, looking to reset this relationship. He's bringing with him over a dozen American business leaders, including Apple's Tim Cook and Elon Musk. On the agenda, everything from tariffs to AI. But with the war with Iran looming large over all of this.
President Trump, Thursday is your big day. You're going to China. Seems to me, and of course you know about this more than anybody, that they want to play it both ways. You know, on one hand, they need us because they need that oil from Iran, and as long as that strait isn't open, they're not going to get the oil they need. On the other hand, there's lots of rumors that they're providing weapons for Iran through the Caspian Sea, other outlets, Russians, by the way, providing drones. Seems to me like Xi wants to play it both ways, yet, he loves you. What's the real deal with this meeting coming up on Thursday with China?
Well, I think it's going to be good, and we do have a good. It's good to have a good relationship. You know, when I first got involved, China was just really taking advantage of us, and they're not anymore. And you know, we do great with China, but we have a very good relationship, and you know, a lot of advantages to us getting along. And if we didn't get along, you'd know about it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of advantage. I'll tell you what we have. We have the strongest. I built the military in my first 4 years. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. And we're seeing that when you look at Venezuela one day. And we have a great relationship now with Venezuela. They say, I poll it 99% in Venezuela. Can you believe it? But, you know, it's been, and now I have with Iran, which is the same thing. It's a bigger area, a bigger country, 95 million people. And we've wiped out their Navy. We wiped out their Air Force. We wiped out their leadership. I mean, to be honest with you, we wiped out everything. We wiped out anti-aircraft. You can flow on top as much as you want, as long as you want. Now, they probably built it back a little bit over the little ensuing while, but I think we'll get there with them. And 100% we get the dust. We get the nuclear dust, and we get the whole thing said. We're in good shape. And I will say this, look, 2 years ago, everyone was saying we were a dead country. Now they say we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we are. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world with the strongest military, the most successful country in the world. And you know what the ships are doing? They're coming up to Texas and Louisiana. They're loading up in Texas, Louisiana, and Alaska. And it's all good for us.
Knickerbockers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Are you still a Knick fan, President Trump?
Well, I am, and I get along with Jim Dolan. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's entitled to a good team because he's suffered a little bit. And, boy, they're turning, you know, some of these players have turned out to be great players.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia is a tough team. You look at them as a team. Their center, Embiid, he's a big guy. And no, you thought it would be good, and they were winning by 35 points. It's great. No, I really like Jim Dolan a lot. I'm really happy for him and for the team. I think it's great.
To our friends listening right now at 1:17 p.m. lunchtime in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, got my plans ready to go. I'll be back in Israel on the State Department in Washington, D.C. all the time. I can't make it, but she's really great. And she texted me about noon. She ran out for lunch. She goes, and nothing excites me more than watching you and Trump on CNN. Wow. And then I saw it. Yeah, they were running the Iran conversation, CNN. So the press hates me too, but we're in just about everywhere yesterday, just about everywhere, with the Trump interview, which again, President Trump gave me 38 minutes, which is unheard of on radio. You know, one thing I have not discussed with Trump yet, his daughter-in-law, yes, that's on tape, and that is this mayor run, this potential mayor run, which, you know, I promised Danielle I wouldn't do, and right now I'm trying to get my deal done at WABC. That's right now number one importance. Got to get that done, and now, okay? And then I've got some other stuff I'm working on, too, for my career. And all that takes precedence over a mayor's run. But it is interesting that everybody that comes on this show, everybody, and other people that I speak to, they really want me to do it. They want me to do it. Lara Trump is on tape saying it. Bruce Blakeman, again, running for governor, he wants me to do it. Rachel Campos Duffy on this program yesterday. Sid, you got to do it. Big Fox and Friends weekend star on Fox News. So many others. I've lost track of the names. I know they're keeping score in the back. Rita Cosby, how about that? I made an appearance yesterday on the Katz and Cosby show. That was fun. Talking about the Trump interview with John and Rita and Craig Eaton, all those great guys, the judge. And Rita loves the idea so much that I was off the John and Rita show at 5:15. I got a text at 8:30 last night, 3 hours later, from Rita Cosby.
Oh, no.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. She said you should do it. She said just the campaign and the debates. She said you'd be great. So I don't know. It's just, you know, the more people that say I should do it, and I look at the field, and you got Curtis, a two-time loser. Not just a two-time loser, but in both cases, lost in the most humiliating of fashions. I mean, He got, I think he got 14% against Eric Adams. It was one of the lowest finishes ever. Seemed almost impossible he could do worse, which he did the next time against Mamdani and Cuomo, finishing at 7%. I don't think he hit 25% in his 2 elections combined. And this moron, who I love him, he's going to do it again for a 3rd time because it went so well the last 2. I guess he's got something up his sleeve that he's really going to change the city now. You know? This guy that, Mamdani's bad. In the meantime, he's doing chuckling videos with Mamdani. Still lots of rumors out there about a potential money relationship. I've never said that because I don't know it to be true. But it's out there. So now he's going to do it again. And then John Schell is going to run, the former chief of department for the police department. I love John. I got nothing bad to say about John. But he can't win. And then you got, Julie Menon. Now she says she's not going to do it. The Speaker of the City Council. Jessica Tisch remains a possibility. Well, these stupid former cops on their podcast telling everybody Tisch will be done in 2 weeks. Fake news! To quote President Trump, fake news, Jessica Tisch, you can bet your bottom dollar on it, will still be the police commissioner in 2 weeks. 2 months? Not sure, but pretty sure she'll still be here. 6 months? I don't know. That I can't tell you. After Labor Day, I can't tell you. But she ain't going anywhere right now. And if you live in New York and you're not happy about that, there really is something wrong with you. And I don't care if you're a cop. No one loves the cops more than me, but some of you guys out there and girls are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Because if you don't love Jessica Tisch, for whatever reason, okay, I love her, you don't have to. Just imagine what'll be next. Forget about Tisch. Just imagine what will be next. And then think about what you're saying, how stupid you sound. Like that lady yesterday trying to talk to Trump at the White House. You know, it's almost daily now or somebody. I remember having this conversation with Caitlin Collins. You know who she is? She's the relatively attractive girl at CNN. Pretty girl.
Yeah, I know who she is.
Every time, for about a year, every time she questioned President Trump in some, big meeting, she would, be out of line. And he would humiliate her every time. And I would text her and say, Caitlin, sweetheart, do yourself a favor. Pick your spots. You don't want to be a Costa, okay? If you want to go after the president, he'll let you. He will let you. It's not like he's cut off the media, but you can't do it every time. Look at your friend, who's a good friend of mine. I spoke to her yesterday, Rachel Scott, who works for ABC. Often she fills in if Lindsey Davis can't do it for David Muir. She's terrific, Rachel. She talks to Trump. She hammered Trump, you may remember, when he was just a candidate in Chicago that summer. That was very ugly. Guess what? They get along great now because Rachel Scott does not go after Trump hard every time they speak. Caitlin Collins does. The media is ridiculous. I mean, try to be a little more subtle when you prove to people like me every day that the American media, listen to this, it's another rough one, okay? The American media is actually rooting for Iran. Write it down, I said it. The American media, 90+%, not Fox News, I guess not Newsmax, I don't know. Not Sid, not ABC. But 90+% of the media is actually rooting for Iran. They would rather see us be miserable than President Trump be right. Same thing with China. 90% of the media, they are rooting, and the politicians, they are rooting for China. 90% of the media and politicians are happy. They are happy that Good and Preti are dead. Happy. Almost dancing in the aisles. That's where we are. It's pretty sad. I did take out one of these rabbis yesterday. I got to mention this and I'll break. Got like 9 guests coming on. So there's this community. It's called the Satmar community. Now, I'm Jewish, but I know very little about all the Jewish communities in New York because, honestly, before October the 7th, even though I did go to yeshiva, Ocean Primary School in Canarsie as a little boy, Solomon Schechter High School, Church Avenue and East 5th by the Prospect Expressway later in life. and I do read Hebrew. I can speak a little bit. Before October the 7th, I was more guy than Jew. I celebrated the high holy days. I would do maybe the first two Seders. That was it. And since October the 7th, I've not become much more religious. I'm not wrapping tefillin every day, I'll tell you that. I'm not going to shul every Saturday. But, as I said often on this show, you say something bad about the Jews in front of me, I don't care who you are, I will punch you across the face. I will. I will punch you across the face. That's a Jew I am today. So I didn't realize how many bad Jews there are out there. They're my own people. Remember Danielle yelled at me, stop criticizing the Jews. I can't help it, man. The liberal Jew, as Carol Markowitz talked about this morning, and it's getting a lot of play, killing us. So I became familiar, Lewis, with this community they're called the Satmars. You know these people?
No.
I remember when Mamdani was running for mayor, I saw him in a sukkah. I go, what the hell is this anti-Israel, Jew-hating anti-Semite whose wife loves graphic images of girls being raped and babies being beheaded? What moron would invite this guy to their sukkah? And I found out it was this Satmar community. So there's this rabbi, I guess he's a rabbi. My friend in Israel told me he's probably working for some NGO and making a lot of money, pocketing a lot of cash. And his name is Rabbi Moshe Indig. You know him, Lewis?
No, I don't know him.
He never went drinking with you in Rockaway? Rabbi Moshe Indig?
No.
I'm calling this guy out. He goes on Twitter yesterday, an important action by Mayor Mamdani fulfilling his promise to do whatever it takes to keep all New Yorkers safe. Mr. Rabbi, you moron. Have you watched the tapes in Brooklyn the last couple of nights? Safe. They're beating up little kids. Little Jewish kids. They got physical with little Jewish kids. You're a rabbi. You're a disgrace. Swastikas all over Queens, 3 nights. What are you talking about? He goes on to say, we appreciate you, Mr. Mayor, for your continued efforts to ensure the safety of the New York Jewish community. Is this guy nuts?
Oh, no.
Is this guy nuts? I didn't listen to the whole 5 o'clock hour today. Noam is out sick, but Jake Novak did a terrific job. I got to guess, Jake, that you had what, 2 or 3 stories about Jews being unsafe in New York? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this guy talking about, this rabbi? And who does the story? This Jacob Kornbloh.
I know him.
Perfect reaction. Right. He's another disgusting Jew. One of my people, but disgusting. So I write back to this rabbi. I go on Twitter. I go, you're a disgrace. You're a rabbi. You're an embarrassment to any decent Jew alive today. You're complimenting a man who sleeps with a woman who liked graphic images of young Jewish girls being raped, babies murdered, and kids shot right in front of their parents. You, Rabbi Moshe Indig, are a disgrace. What do you mean he's keeping Jewish New Yorkers safe? Brooklyn at this point is Gaza. It's Gaza. I can't believe the videos and images I'm seeing. What are you talking about? The Satmar community. I did get a text from a buddy of mine. He's on the Holocaust Memorial Council board with me. Again, a huge honor, appointed by President Trump. He's a terrific guy. His name is Jonathan Birkin. And he said, listen, Sid, I love you, but a lot of Satmars do like Israel. Some small sects don't. They're very small. I'm not sure if I believe John. I think the majority don't like Israel, not small sects. I believe the majority of the Satmar community doesn't like Israel. So I try these days, for you, Danielle, to limit my criticism of the Jewish people, but this was the same day. This Rabbi Moshe Indig puts this on Twitter. The same day all those violent videos are coming out of Brooklyn. What world are these people living in? How much money are you making from this corrupt, disgusting mayor?
Well, that might be your answer then. That
of course it is.
Has to be the answer,
of course it is.
Doesn't make any sense otherwise.
Yeah.
Did he respond?
Not a word.
Okay.
He's not going to respond. Well, how's he going to respond to me? I'll eat his ass for lunch. What are you, nuts?
I'd just be curious. Like, how could you refute what you just...
You can't refute it. You cannot refute it.
I really don't understand what goes on with the Jewish people. I'm not.
Neither do I.
I don't.
People go, well,
it.
about 30% voted for Mamdani, 20%. I don't care if it's 1%. If you're a Jewish person, first of all, and I started this even before President Trump did, but he has said it about 1 million times. No Jewish person should ever vote for a Democrat. Even if it's Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, who has said some things about October 7th that I don't love. Since. No Jewish person should ever vote Democrat. But to make it worse, you vote for this guy? For this guy? For Mamdani? Who is on record? He wants to cancel the Israeli Day Parade. He wiped out the whole webpage, Israeli businesses, accounting for about $16 billion. He has no interest in buffer zones anywhere in New York protecting yeshiva students or synagogue worshipers. He sleeps with a woman who's the most vile, wretched anti-Semite ever. He walks the streets with Mahmoud Khalil, Nurdin, and alleged co-conspirator World Trade Center bombers. This is the guy, Satmar community, you're going to tell me does a great job? Disgrace! I shouldn't be yelling. It's only 6:47 in the morning, but you're a disgrace. All right, that's it. We got a lot of guests to get to, and I've already done 47 minutes of a great rant.
Well done to stop yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Frank Morano's going to be here. Rich Lowry's going to be here. Scott LoBaido. Cherie DeVoe. She trained Golden Tempo to win the Kentucky Derby. Guess what? The second leg of the Triple Crown is coming up this Saturday. It's a Preakness Stakes. Will Golden Tempo run again? We'll talk to Cherie coming up this morning. We'll also talk to Peter King, possibly John Solomon, and my friends Camille and Anthony, our Williams Syndrome conversation. They got a big gala coming up. Brooklyn loves Camille. You all love her. She's great. They'll be live in studio coming up late in the 9 o'clock hour. So it's a big Wednesday show, Hump Day Wednesday.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We're going to talk to City Council member and former WABC colleague Frank Morano about whether it's a win or not. This is the mayor, Lewis, cut number 2.
Yes, I see this as a win, not just for our administration, but for the city of New York. A win to ensure that the city is back on firm financial footing.
It is.
And it's doing so by taxing the rich, by creating a fairer relationship with Albany.
Ew. All right, so he claims it's a win. And I think Frank Morano is actually smarter than he is. I don't care if he went to Brooklyn Tech. I really do. Frank, is the mayor right? $125 billion budget, one in which you guys in the city council have the power to say, nope, ain't going to happen here. From what you see, Frank Morano, is it a win for the mayor and New York City?
Sid, good morning. First of all, thanks for having me on, and congratulations on the incredible interview with President Trump. Everybody's talking about it literally all over the world, and I don't think people would be surprised if President Trump, when he's with Xi Jinping later, actually were to hand the phone to Xi Jinping to have Xi Jinping call you. That's kind of the level that your show is at right now.
It's not crazy. That's not crazy.
No, it's not. Yeah. No, for anybody but Trump, it would be. But so as far as this budget, this is just crazy. Everything about this is crazy. A few months ago, we were talking. We were told New York City was facing the fiscal equivalent of an event-level extinction event, an asteroid, $12 billion budget hole, property tax hikes, supposedly unavoidable, end-of-the-world rhetoric. We're going to raid the rainy day fund, which is supposed to be only used for things like a major crisis. And now, suddenly, the property tax hike is gone. The rainy day fund rate is gone. Albany found like magic billions of dollars, and everybody's declaring victory, nobody more so than the mayor. So, first of all, I'm glad homeowners dodged that bullet of a property tax hike because that would have been devastating. But this whole episode raises a ton of questions. It's laughable. The biggest thing New Yorkers need to understand is this. State money is not magic money. It's still taxpayer money. It's just routed through Albany first. So if somehow Governor Hochul found $4 billion to bribe the voters with.
By the way, that would be $4 billion for this year. She actually found double it, $8 billion over a 2-year period.
That's exactly right. And so don't shortchange your own math abilities. I saw you giving the disclaimer that you're not Larry Kudlow or Charles Gasparino. Even Sid Rosenberg knows the difference between $4 billion and $8 billion. But this is crazy. Now, instead of the taxpayers of just New York City getting hosed, the taxpayers of all New York State are subsidizing the lavish spending of New York City. We went for, but in all seriousness, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. Just think about this. And I know, even though you're obviously conservative, you do have a lot of Democrats and independents that listen to you every morning because I hear from them. But think about this. We went from a $12 billion crisis to then $7 billion. To then $5 billion in a matter of just weeks, right? It was like Joseph McCarthy constantly changing the number of communists that were in the State Department. And now, apparently, the gap is basically closed. And that tells me this was at least partly a messaging exercise, not a math exercise. This was an attempt to scare politicians and scare the voters into raising taxes. But again, and that's what the mayor proposed to us when he briefed the members of the city council on this a few months ago. He said, if you don't go with this big tax hike for corporations and high income earners, then we're going to have to raise property taxes on everybody. And you wouldn't like that, would you?
Wait a second. Is he a moron? Does he realize that when he threatened you with property tax increases, that you, the city council, led by Julie Menin, you have the ability to make it go away? You didn't realize that?
Well, I think he thought all the progressives were going to roll over. And lo and behold, even a lot of the progressives weren't eager to give their own constituents a property tax hike. So what I've been saying from the beginning is to you and others is before you threaten property tax hikes, before you drain reserves, which would have had a devastating impact on New York City's credit rating, by the way, before you nickel and dime New Yorkers to death, government has to seriously examine spending. And look, there have been some minor cuts here. They're more kind of rounding errors, honestly, between every agency. We could go much, much deeper. But what actually closed the gap here? It's not this fiscal wizardry that the mayor's putting in. It's Albany aid, this magic pot of money that Kathy Hochul found, delayed pension payments, by the way, which could put us, which everybody's calling a gimmick, even the Citizens Budget Commission, which is pretty nonpartisan, which could put us in a hole going forward. It's a couple of agency savings, which I'm all for, some targeted cuts, which I'm all for, and then a whole bunch of mini taxes and fees. And that's very different from what we were originally told. So what the mayor's done here is he's really become the boy who cried wolf. Nobody will ever take the mayor seriously, and I mean the public and politicians, in future budget briefings, because we now know he's going to say and threaten whatever he needs to in order to try to raise taxes. Just one quick point on the pension delay. That pension delay really does concern me. It's not as much as a massive property tax hike, but balancing today's budget by pushing pension costs into the future is basically handing the bill to future taxpayers. So people should be aware of that, and that's not something that a lot of people are talking about today. But the administration, they moved from panic mode to patchwork mode, and what we still need from both the city council, quite frankly, who I think has been pretty solid on this, and the mayor, is we need reform mode. Nobody's talking about reforming New York City's crazy spending process when that's what we need to do.
Give me an example then, Frank, because you really are great and smart. Give me an example of reform mode. Give me something practical that you'd like to see the mayor do in the spirit of, quote, reform that would help the city.
Well, one thing that he actually said during the campaign and his budget director, Sharif Solomon, brought up again during the budget hearings, which I'm actually for, is changing how the property tax systems are evaluated. Now, my constituents in Staten Island are paying a lot more in taxes on a modest 1 or 2 family home than the mayor's constituents would be in places like Park Slope and the gentrified areas. He said he wants to change that, and that's why it was so laughable to me that he won those neighborhoods so big, because the gist of his whole property tax plan, which was also Joe Borelli's property tax plan, by the way, is soaking those folks and having them pay more, and they were only too happy to vote for him. So that's one area where we've actually already agreed. But what I think we need to do beyond that is change the structure of government spending instead of lurching from crisis to crisis every budget season, because it's not unique to Mamdani. Adams did the same thing. So, for example, I think we need to eliminate thousands of long vacant positions that agencies admit they're never going to fill, but that's still in the budget. We need to consolidate a whole bunch of duplicative agencies and office space. Everything that says mayor's office of blank could be eliminated because there's already an agency and a city council committee that does that. Procurement reform, number one. The city is dramatically overpaying contractors on everything. A lot of these contracts, no bid contracts, by the way, and that's taxpayer money. There's a disaster going on in the city when it comes to overtime controls and audits. We have a new controller. He's a liberal Democrat, but he seems like a smart guy and an honest guy, much better than Brad Lander. I'm hoping he does something about that. We need to totally streamline our city technology systems. So many of our systems are running straight out of the 1990s. And most importantly, from Albany's perspective, is we need class size mandate relief from Albany. You know, I heard Mr. Novak in the last day or two, and I heard Noam last week talking about the dwindling public school enrollment numbers, and yet we're spending more than ever because they are mandating the class size to the tune of $1 billion. So the bottom line, I think, Sid, is we need to review programs that keep growing every year without measurable results. I think when John Catsimatidis ran for mayor in 2013, that was actually one of the things that he talks about. But we need to audit all this underused real estate in New York City and leased office space, especially with more and more city workers working remotely, or at least having the ability to work remotely. We have a crazy situation of this massive government that seems to perpetuate itself in perpetuity. Irrespective of what money is coming in, it still keeps growing and growing and growing. You know, the mayor said he wanted a rent freeze. He wanted to, or limit it to 1.5% this year. What if we went along with that, as long as we only limited the growth of government spending to 1.5%? And I'm only talking about discretionary government spending. I'm not even talking about things like pension payments and things like that. We are out of control, and nobody is talking about a broad reform of the system, which is what we need. Reform mode means focusing on long-term savings, not temporary gimmicks. Long-term, ideally recurring savings.
I also saw as part of this budget, and again, I don't know all the details as well as you do, this executive budget where the mayor is saying that the city has closed the gap here. I saw him put down numbers that are based on potential deals. In other words, not done yet, but hey, the city just found $500 million. Where did they find that $500 million? Well, it goes back to this conversation I had with the president on this show yesterday. Lewis, cut number 4.
Do you know Ken Griffin, Mr. President?
I do.
I figured you did because he's a very successful man, a great man just like you. And he wants to do a $6 billion project right here on Park Avenue. And who loves Park Avenue more than you? And you've got the mayor, this guy outside of his residence, and he does a whole film. And Ken Griffin goes above and beyond the fact that he just humiliated me, and I'm a billionaire looking to spend money in New York City. It's unsafe. He's doing a video from the front of where I live. And now Ken Griffin is thinking about taking that $6 billion project for a city, President Trump, that's $5.4 billion in debt, and taking that to Miami. How does that make sense?
Well, I do know Ken, and Ken's an amazing businessman, one of the best, and you don't want to lose people. He also pays a lot of taxes, like me. We pay a lot of taxes, and you know when you lose people like that, it's sort of not recoverable. Always you say something's recoverable, right? But it's not recoverable. Then they build something else. They're going to be there for 30 years. They don't come back, and You've got to do the opposite. You've got to cherish them. You got to bring them to the office. You got to meet them. You have to have dinner with them. You have to convince them not to leave. You're going to make their life great. You're going to help them with their building, with their project. You got to do it. And I don't know if it's not hard to do, but maybe it is for some people. But you don't want to lose people like Ken. That would be a big loss for New York.
So it looks like in this budget that they're counting on $500 million based on this second home tax. I don't know how to say it in French. I just don't care.
Pied-à-terre tax. Yeah.
Thank you. So is that pretty much stitch in already? That's done?
No. Great points all by both you and the president there. For starters, let's talk about how the mayor marketed this whole thing. He could be for the pied-à-terre tax, right? The people have been talking about it for years, and I understand the appeal. I don't think it's a good idea, but I understand the appeal. But the way that he did this, going outside of Ken Griffin's home, pointing at his house and saying, essentially, this guy is the bad guy, this guy is the villain, this guy is to blame for all your problems, especially in light, as you pointed out, a year or so after the murder of the United CEO, Brian Thompson, in Manhattan itself. It was so irresponsible. And for a movement that claims they want to, bring down the rhetoric and they love to criticize President Trump, it was so reckless. And it really stokes the flames of class warfare in an incredibly irresponsible way. And the mayor ought to be ashamed of himself for that. But in terms of the policy, by the way, what the president said there, 100% right. The mayor in history that raised taxes more than any other mayor was Mike Bloomberg. And yet, at the same time he was raising taxes, because it was a fiscal crisis, he did exactly what the president described. He went and visited with every entrepreneur, every business leader, every major property holder, and begged them to stay in New York. And you know what? Almost all of them did, even with they were getting soaked with an 18.5% property tax hike. What now you're seeing is with this pied-à-terre tax, which, by the way, they're saying it won't even generate $500 million. Two, it's far from a sure thing, as even Jumaane Williams pointed out. I haven't heard Kathy Hochul necessarily say that she's on board with this, because a lot of the people that would be paying this are her donors. But what they're talking about with this pied-à-terre tax on second homes, I understand why that polls well politically. People hear luxury apartment tax and think it only affects billionaires. They think it only affects an Arab sheik that comes to New York City one weekend a month and they have this big property here. But these taxes always get sold as temporary or narrowly targeted, and somehow they always spread. So she didn't agree to this pied-à-terre compromise yesterday. And my concern, though, is the broader message. If you invest here, if you own property here, if you succeed here, government increasingly sees you as a target instead of a partner. You don't build a stronger city by putting a kick me sign on the backs of the taxpayers. The taxpayers that are funding the very programs that the mayor says he wants to help lower income New Yorkers. Even a lot of these experts are saying the revenue projections from this tax are overly optimistic. Government always assumes taxpayers are going to sit still and happily pay more, and real life doesn't always work that way.
No, it doesn't. So in the final 30 seconds, much like the property tax increase, you guys can make sure that doesn't happen. You can also make sure this $125 billion budget doesn't happen either. What do you think the city council does here?
Well, a lot of this is dependent upon Albany aid right now, so a lot of this is going to be up to the governor and the state legislature. But on the council front, I think there was enormous pushback against both the property tax hike and raiding the rainy day fund. So I think if they present us with a budget that doesn't do either of those things, especially if it doesn't result in massive cuts to things like libraries or other programs that people that care about, then I think they're likely to approve it. But again, the taxpayers around the state have to be asking, how much do I want to subsidize New York City? If I'm a Long Islander, if I live upstate, and I see my property taxes go up year after year, and I see Kathy Hochul giving an $8 billion gift to Mamdani, do I really want that reflected in my tax bill? I wouldn't think so.
No, I think you're right. Nobody better. Nobody could have done a better job. Nobody than you just did in the last 15 minutes. Frank Morano, as always, great work. Thank you so much, and keep fighting for our city, man. We need more people like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. It is great to be on with you as always, and congratulations again on the phenomenal interview with President Trump.
I think yours was just as good. How about that, Frank?
Nobody else does.
Well, I do.
Me.
Have yourself a great day. Thank you. That's an excellent job.
This is
Sid on Sports.
Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan at Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com. Find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best-built boilers. To start out in Baltimore, Paul Goldschmidt homered on the first pitch of the game. Trent Grisham hit a 3-run shot, and the Yankees got off the schneid, beating the Orioles 6-2 to end a 4-game losing streak. They did recall shortstop Anthony Volpe from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. I have my own feelings about that. But Jose Caballero is hitting the 10-day IL with a fractured finger, so you're out of options there. You do have
Not
to
really.
call up.
You could play Ahmed Rosario at shortstop.
You could play Ahmed Rosario at shortstop.
He was a Met shortstop for a while.
Yeah, but he's been spending a lot of time at third base. You can't. Ryan McMahon is not an everyday third baseman. So.
No. Well, he is. Defensively, he just can't hit.
He can't hit.
Right.
So that's why.
How you feel?
You work Ahmed in, and Ahmed also is sort of your fourth outfielder.
How you feel?
Okay, everybody settle it down. He's also your fourth outfielder, so when Aaron Judge is DHing...
Alec is doing a great job.
Right. You know, Aaron Judge is DHing, and all of a sudden Jason Dominguez runs headfirst into a wall and has to leave the game.
Who's this now?
Well, this is what happened last week, and then Ahmed
What does
Rosario
this have
had
to do with Tim
Whitfield.
Cook going to China?
Nothing, absolutely nothing
All right.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, and so you'll see Anthony Volpe this afternoon playing shortstop for the New York Yankees. Unfortunately, start time moved to 1:05 p.m.
Will you stop it? He's a Jersey kid. It's a nice local story. You know, his parents love this
It's
show.
a great local story. Yeah, it's been a great local story for 5 years now. The kid
His
hasn't done anything in the major league.
listen to this show, Dick
All right,
Stain.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Mr. and Mrs. Volpe, I'm a huge fan of your
Did you know
son.
that? You didn't even know that, did you?
I think he's a great
No, I didn't
great
ask
guy.
what you think about him, but you know his parents are in New Jersey listening every day.
No, why didn't you tell me that before I did this? This is terrible news.
Well, they're still going to love me. They just won't like you. Nobody cares.
I'm sorry. All right, I take it all back. He's going to be great.
Now he's the greatest shortstop ever?
Yeah, he's the next Derek Jeter.
Just go with that.
Look out for that 3,000th hit. The Ace Max Range will start for New York this afternoon. Kyle Bradish to start for Baltimore. In Queens, A.J. Ewing gave the Mets the offensive jolt they were looking for throughout his impressive Major League debut. Freddie Peralta pitched 6 effective innings in New York's 10-2 victory over the sloppy Detroit Tigers. Up next for them, the righty Christian Scott makes his 13th Major League start. Still looking for his first career win in what will be a 7:10 p.m. first pitch from Citi Field in the middle game of this 3-game series with Detroit. On to the hardwood. Last night, Spurs beating the Timberwolves 126-97 Western Conference semifinals game 5. San Antonio now leading that series 3-2 tonight. Cavaliers and Pistons pick up their Eastern Conference semifinals series game 5 there. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Of course, the winner of that series will see our New York Knicks in the conference finals coming up. Let's look at the NHL as well. Last night, final from Montreal. Sabres beating the Canadiens 3-2. That series now tied at 2 games apiece. And out in Las Vegas in overtime, the Golden Knights beating the Ducks 3-2 in game 5 there. Vegas leading that series 3-2. That's your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com. Find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Alex, 77 WABC.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Talking about Michael Rapaport has just texted me and said, yes, I was on Chris Cuomo, but I never said I'm officially running for mayor. I'll do it on your show. Everybody runs for mayor. Everybody. Jim Walden, he ran for mayor. Did a tremendous job with Vicky Palladino. She got the win a couple of days ago. And he is putting together this lawsuit. I love this. I read this in the New York Times this morning. Fake news, but this one's real. For over 4 months, New York City's donor class and power brokers, troubled by Mayor Zohran Mamdani's rise to power, have been mulling how to take him on. Some of them have now joined forces to formalize their angst through a campaign to work against him. The group formed NYC Common Sense. John's going to love that. NYC Common Sense, a nonprofit that was registered in Delaware and has already raised more than $1 million. This, according to a founding member and political consultant, Phil Singer. The group is being chaired by the attorney, former mayoral candidate Jim Walden. And, they talk about him running for mayor, and everybody's running. Maybe me, I don't know. I got to get my deal done here first, and then we'll talk about running for mayor. Here is the great Rich Lowry, editor-in-chief, National Review. Did you hear that unbelievable 40-minute conversation I had with President Trump yesterday?
I didn't hear the entirety of the 40 minutes, but I heard some of it, and it was great. You asked the important questions. You guys obviously have a rapport, so it's fantastic. I didn't know, by the way, you're a McDonald's guy.
Yeah, I like the Egg McMuffin with a hash brown and a small orange juice. It's not crazy big in calories. I heard Greg Kelly talking about he lost 11 pounds, which I lost 11 pounds amazingly. We have a lot of similarities these days, me and Greg Kelly. So I'm kind of watching what I'm eating. No late carbs, very few desserts, if any at all. But I will still every now and then cheat with an Egg McMuffin, hash brown, and small orange juice. And Rapaport knows it. We used to do videos way back when, Rich, when Bernie was still alive. And they would catch me eating my McDonald's and then put it on Instagram. Then we reached out to McDonald's and said, hey, how about advertising on Sid's show? He loves it. And they hate me, so they didn't do it.
Well, I think underappreciated McDonald's breakfast offering is pancakes. The thing is, you got to be eating in to eat those pancakes, but they're good.
No, they are good. They are good. So, big McDonald's fans on the show this morning. So we'll see if Rapaport, he is going to do it eventually. I think he will. Everybody's running for mayor. You know, look, this guy's doing such a horrendous job. He comes out yesterday with this new $125 billion budget. He's bragging that he closed the gap, right? Just a couple of weeks ago, he's talking about property tax increases. He's talking about second home tax increases. And this governor, she's a complete waste of time. She found $8 billion. The state's broke. The city's broke. But Hochul found $8 billion over 2 years to help this Mensa mayor out. In the meantime, between the two of them, they're destroying this place.
Yep. He's not just a socialist. He's not a serious person. So those are not good combinations. Even if he were a conservative, I think he's completely light. He's never done anything in his life and wouldn't be capable of running the city. So, and they add communism on top of that. It's not a good combination.
It's not very good. Let me get to this China trip. He's there now, and of course, Trump is set to meet with President Xi tomorrow. And the question is, was this about Iran or about business? And at least with me yesterday and in many interviews since, President Trump is making it sound like business. I mean, look, folks, he's taking 17 CEOs to China. Some big names you recognize: Larry Fink, Tim Cook from Apple, Elon Musk, Kelly Ortberg from Boeing. Just 4 of the 17 names. So, you know, will he bring up to China, to Xi, that, hey, whose side are you on if you're really supplying weapons for the Iranians? Whose side are you on? You want us to make sure you get your oil. You better be nice to us. I'm sure that will come up at some point, but he's kind of bending over backwards to make it seem like this is about business more than Iran. What do you think?
I think we've talked about this before. He's like a governor. You know, governors travel the world trying to get business for their state. That's how he thinks about the United States of America. So I do think business is foremost on his mind. He is going to bring up the Strait of Hormuz and all these strategic matters, of course. But I think that the downside here is potentially China promises, as I have before, you know, we're going to invest, we're going to buy your soybeans like you've never seen before, you know, flashes big numbers up there, and then get some sort of concessions on Taiwan or something like that. That's what I think we have to avoid. I'm not sure there's much upside from the summit except for maybe some good feelings. So, you know, that's worth having because we need to replenish and rebuild before we're involved in any confrontation with China, God forbid. And they have a lot of cards. We also need to develop our rare earths and whatnot to eliminate their leverage. So I get sort of what Trump is doing. He's been relatively soft on China compared to the way he was first term.
Yeah, he has. And I have those conversations with Gordon Chang, and Trump actually called out Gordon Chang a couple of weeks ago.
I heard that the other day on your show, yeah.
I know. And then Gordon was critical again a couple of days ago. He goes, see, this is why President Trump yells at you. But it's true. He was all over Xi the first time around. But, you know, right now he's got to deal with Iran, even though, again, China is a major player on the other team in this conflict. But here he goes to China. Iran is still out there, right? I mean, there's no ending yet. The ceasefire, I guess, is in place. It's the only ceasefire ever where both sides are allowed to bomb each other.
Yeah, the shooting ceasefire.
Right.
They're the greatest. Right. They're the greatest kind.
Fantastic.
I think we're unless we can take the strait back by force, which I think we can in theory, but I think would be risky and protracted, and Trump obviously doesn't have an appetite for it. you're stuck in this stalemate. I think eventually we'll get a deal. I don't think it'll be a great deal, but if you layer a not great deal on top of the destruction we've wrought on their military and their economy, you've set them back years, and I think that is a net benefit to our national security. But for the moment, we're stuck, and I don't think Trump wants $5 gas.
No.
After Labor Day.
No, he can't even wait till Labor Day because that'll hurt us come November. At least I believe that. So depending on who you talk to, this is Rich Lowry, the great editor-in-chief of how's the name of your magazine again? God damn it!
National Review.
That's
you
right.
Get it together. Said I have an invitation in your text for lunch today, and I didn't get a reply. Maybe it's you're watching your calories.
Hold on a second. No, I'm always up for a free lunch. Let me see something here. What time was this yesterday?
I don't know. I was looking back.
Oh, here it is. 5:42 p.m. Hey Sid, are you free for lunch tomorrow? If not, I'll try you again soon. Son of a bitch. I'm not free today, but I do want to go. But I do want to go. Are we going to do Kalari?
Yeah, we'll settle on a date.
Are you in the city every day now?
I'm going in the city more, so we have lots of options.
Why are you coming here now? Now it's the worst time to come to the city.
I know. I have a home office that's being blown up, so I got to work somewhere, and it's in New York City.
Well, thank you. I'd love to go to lunch with you. The last time we had such a great time. Let's do it.
Yeah, let me know when you're free. We'll make it work.
Any day next week. Pick one day next week. Text me after this great appearance, and we'll do it.
I'll do it.
Thank you for that. That's very sweet. But I was about to tell you that depending on who you talk to, there's 3 different angles that people are talking about when it comes to Iran, 3 different issues they're worried about. One is regime change. So I had a conversation with Morton Klein. He runs ZOA, that Zionist Organization of America, Rich. And he wants regime change. He's worried that, if these creeps are still in charge, even if it's the 5th or 6th layer, that they will do whatever they can to rebuild Iran and the terror proxies, and Israel will be in trouble again. Then you get, of course, the Strait of Hormuz people who are worried about oil and gas prices. Right, that's a big one, I think you'd agree. And then you get the nuclear weapon people. Depending on who you talk to, there are people who view this differently as to what's most important. You do realize this is not a one-issue conflict.
No, of course. Well, if you get regime change, though, you take care of everything, presumably. But how can we do that, right? So that's the problem. I don't think we have the power to force regime change on any schedule that's predictable or that we can directly influence. So maybe there'll be regime change a year from now, but I don't think we're doing it militarily, which we demonstrated here over the last couple months. I think you want as much of the nuclear concessions as you can get. I think if you get them to say they're going to stop enriching and in some verifiable way for 10 or 15 years, that's great. Who knows what the world's going to look like 10 or 15 years from now. But you got to get the Strait reopened, and I'm afraid they're not going. I'm afraid they're going to still have some form of control over the Strait, even if it's open. But you got to get it going again. It's a debacle and kind of an embarrassment.
One more for you, because you're so great at predicting this stuff. I'd ask you every week: Biden, Trump this one, Biden that one. You always got it right. So let me go back to me and Trump yesterday, and you got to run here shortly. This is our cut 13, Lewis, talking about the potentials coming up for president in 2028. Trump and Sid, cut 13.
What are we going to do when President Trump's not here anymore? But, I love Marco Rubio. That's a whole other discussion. But the Democrats, I'm hearing Kamala Harris. I'm hearing AOC. Let me say it again because you have to say it. These are not smart people, okay? Forgetting about the fact whether they're men, women, black, white, I don't care. They're not smart people. These are the people, whether it's Gavin Newsom or Buttigieg, these are the people that the Democrats are going to put out there in 2028. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, well, it's not good, and we do have a good bench. I will say we have a great bench. We have some great people, as you know, and we're doing great. The economy is going to be unbelievable as soon as this war ends. It already is. They said we just broke the record for the best stock market. 401ks are booming for people. And I think we're going to have – I had the best economy in history in my first 4 years, and I think this one's going to blow it. But I had to take a little excursion down to the beautiful country of Iran. I had to do a little excursion and get rid of the nuclear weapons. And by the way, Khomeini's not there. Soleimani's not there any longer. All those, what we had to do is incredible, but they have evil intentions. These people have evil intentions, and you can't let it happen. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And people understand that. And if they did, they'd use it. They'd blow up all sorts of parts of the world. It could be us too.
Could be.
No, we're not going to let that happen.
No, we're not.
Yep.
Not going to let that happen. But going back to the beginning of that conversation, talking about the potentials for 2028, I listed a bunch on that left side, and maybe I left out Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, maybe out of Kentucky, Brashear. He's getting some legwork here the last couple of weeks. But talking about benches, is it even close, Rich?
Yeah, so there's no one on that other side that you look at and you're like, oh, I hope they don't run that person because he or she's going to be so formidable politically, right? It looks like a bunch of Lilliputians. Now we'll see. You know, people always look different after they win a nomination because that's a significant fight and you come out a victor. But this is the best thing Republicans have going for them at the moment. As a Democratic Party, its image is still in the toilet, and they seem to have no idea how to climb out.
Bottom line, Rich, amazing appearance as always. Thank you for the lunch date. We will definitely do it next week. I love you. Thank you, pal.
Talk soon.
Rich Lowry, right there, the editor of the National Review, does a great job on this show every week and has become one of my dearest friends. I love Rich.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm really excited about the 250 birthday parties coming up.
Yeah.
I know you'll be here around July 4th there by the Hudson River. We got that big date coming up on your birthday, Flag Day with the UFC. So I know Monica Crowley's on the show quite a bit. She's so excited about this. And by the way, she's great. Monica's great. And love being with King Charles a couple of weeks ago. But if you can, like 60 seconds or less, give me the rundown of how exciting the big birthday is coming up for the United States and your role.
So we again have the greatest country in the world, and we're going to be having different events. One of the things, the great Dana White is doing UFC on June 14th right in front of the front door of the White House, and building an arena with about 4,000, 5,000 people. You can't get a ticket. It's impossible. I've never seen anything like it. And we'll have 100,000 people next door in the big park right across the street from the White House, and it's free. And we have, as you know, Roger Penske is doing the whole thing with the IndyCar, and he's been trying to get it done for 25 years. I got it done for him. And we're going to have a race in mid-August. It's going to be unbelievable around the Capitol. It's going to be a sight like never before. And, you know, things that have never happened before. I'm very excited about, you know, the water fountain, you could call it. It's a combination of fountain, and it's also a pond, a big lake or pond, and they call it the reflecting pond. And it was built in 1922. It's been a disaster. President Obama spent $55 million and just made it worse. It was like throwing money out the window. And the cost to fix it was almost $400 million, and I'm going to get it fixed for a couple of $1 million. I'm going to build. It's not very complicated. I got my swimming pool people. I said, take a look. What can we do here? And they recommended us, and it is so beautiful. It's under construction now, and it's just amazing. We'll get no credit for it. This is the Woolman Rink on steroids. Okay,
I love it.
And it was going to take. By the way, it's going to take 4 years to build it. This is going to take 2 weeks. Okay, in 2 weeks it'll be better than ever before. So they'll understand when we finish it what we did. It won't leak. It'll be beautiful. It's a little thing, but it's a lot of money still. You know, when you can save $400 million, I'd say that's still not so bad. And create something that's beautiful. You couldn't even use it. It was a disaster for years.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what they were doing. Obama, Biden, these people were so bad. They were so bad for our country. And, you know, you get incensed. I know you so well, and you're incensed when you even talk about them. And Sid, they're worse, okay?
I know.
As bad as you think. They're worse.
Oh, I know. Obama was the absolute worst. Biden was, you know, God bless him, he was horrible, but he was also, you know where he was half the time. Obama, too smart of a guy to do all the horrible things that he did.
Yeah, not so smart.
Not so smart. Maybe you're right. And by the way, you're also
overrated.
Yeah, very overrated.
What?
You're also less than a month away from the start of the FIFA World Cup, another big event going on while you're president.
And the Olympics, and I got the FIFA, and I think of it. I got the FIFA, and I felt so badly because I wouldn't be there because I was going to lead, you know, then they rigged the election. I also got the Olympics. I got them both. Yeah. So I said, oh, that's too bad. I got the Olympics, but I won't be president. Well, then they tried to rig the election. And I said, let's do it again. And so now I got them both. So that'll be good. Plus 250, which is going to be the most exciting of all.
LoBaido, the relentless patriot, the great patriot, the brilliant artist, is going to hop on right now. When I think about America's birthday, everything patriotic, Scott LoBaido, this is a huge compliment. I think of you first. How about that?
Thank you, Sid. You know, and that's embedded in my soul. It's in my heart. That's what separates people like us to many other folks that we know, just like following. And I mean, it's nice that people get the patriotic bug, but there's real patriots, and then there's patriots that just, I wouldn't even call them patriots. People that just follow the wind, follow the trend. And then when the patriotic fever dies down, so do they. I'm people like you and I and a handful of others who are continuous with our patriot for the last decades, where even when it's the worst of times, that's when I'm most patriotic. That's where it's like, wow, Scott, you're going to paint that flag upside down because America is in a crappy No, it's the opposite. It's where patriotism is, yes, celebrated when good things happen, but I feel that it should be celebrated when the worst things happen.
I agree with you. And I tell you, it's funny you mentioned about the flag upside down, because we live on the beach in Bell Harbor, Rockaway, and literally 2 blocks away from the beach. And once the weather gets nice, like this week, we're going to be in the 70s on Friday, 80s on Saturday and Sunday. We'll be at the beach, literally, Scott, for like 20 hours, my family. And I remember a couple of years ago when things were really bad under Biden, I walked on the beach one day, and this is an incredibly patriotic community. I believe my community is even bigger than Staten Island, Nassau, all of them. There are more American flags per square feet in Rockaway, Bell Harbor, than any other place in New York. They had an upside-down flag. And I remember saying to myself, well, it makes sense. I'm not sure I like it, but it made sense at the time. But you're saying that there is no time to do that, right? No time.
No, I don't say that. I mean, obviously what that means is we are in distress. I mean, that's a military, from the Navy and stuff here. When the flag was upside down, when it was flown, that meant there was a serious distress, with what's going on. So I know many people who have flown it upside down, when it's a serious time of stretch. But nevertheless, in the bigger picture, patriotism, in my opinion, my strong opinion, a patriotic community, a patriotic country is a prosperous one. It's just so obvious. I mean, it's not prosperous right now in New York City because there is a lack of patriotism. You have these protests. Like right now, that's what I want to slide into. I got bad news, I got good news. These violent protesters are going to continue. I still can't believe, I'm not even Jewish, I can't believe that this Jew-hating insanity, this violent, aggressive, destructive, Jew-hating insanity is still blossoming at this point in the game. I just can't fathom it because again, I can't. How many times are we going to say that there's no accountability? There is no punishment. It's selective enforcement. You can punish the people properly. We have laws. It's on the books. But just like what happened with me, selective enforcement. Mayor Adams, if you remember, when I threw that slice of pizza over the fence at City Hall, one slice of pizza, because I was, it was the pizza party instead of the tea party, because Mayor Adams was shutting down brick oven pizzas because it was killing the ozone and the carcinogens were killing baby seals.
Stupid,
it was insane. Right. 60. He sent 60 poor cops who loved me, who did not want to bother me, 60 cops to arrest me for throwing a slice of pizza and put me in the can. So if they can do that to me, they can do this to these horrible, violent, destructive criminals that are wearing masks and destroying everything in their paths.
No, I know. And you get this. I mentioned this, Rabbi. You're right. There should be accountability and repercussion, and we've got the laws on the books. That's why I mentioned this idiot, Rabbi Moshe Indig, who's part of this really, I hate to say it, but this gross Satmar community. They're Jews, but not really. And he was congratulating Mayor Mamdani on Twitter yesterday, this moron, for spending money for hate crimes. Rabbi, listen to me. There's not hate crimes in New York City, okay? You're going to buy into Islamophobia for the 4 people that got stopped across the face the last 25 years. There is one group of people that are being hunted every day in New York City. And it's not only okay with the mayor, it's almost encouraged by the mayor, and those are Jews. So let's stop with this hate crime nonsense and talk about the one issue that is plaguing the one group of people in this city. It's called anti-Semitism, not hate crimes. Am I wrong?
How? I just don't. I mean, you get it. You do get it. Again, the bad news is this isn't going to stop, Sid. It's going to get worse. It has to get worse. You know what I keep saying? It has to burn to the ground. It's the accountability that no one is taking from these simple animals that are being Jew-hating, vicious, mask-wearing. That's the worst part. They wear masks, cover their face because they don't believe in what they're doing. They really don't. And that animal that pushed that old man down the stairs in the subway. No accountability. And you can go all the way up the line from this animals that'll never be anything but an effing animal all the way up to the aristocrats, including Senator Mark Kelly, who has had no accountability for his treasonous actions. Did you see what he told the public when he is sworn to secrecy? To be on a committee like that, to tell the effing enemy that the lion is sleeping. The lion is sleeping. This is the time to attack the great. He put the American lives on the line, military lives on the line, by telling the world that, just like he did a couple of months ago when he told the active duty to stand down and do not take orders from the commander-in-chief, who happens to be Donald Trump, and this little piece of this garbage. Okay, he's so envious of Donald Trump, so jealous of Donald Trump, because maybe he wanted to be president, and he's never going to be. And he puts everybody's lives on the line.
Yeah, he's done it twice. He's done it twice. He should be arrested for treason. I think he is mulling a run for president this time around, Kelly. But you're right. This man, this is not even up for debate. This guy, Kelly, has now committed treason twice.
He needs to be the example. He has to be the example to go down. It has to happen. Why did we hire? Keyword is hire. Why did we hire this administration? Donald Trump's got a lot of fish on his plate. Okay, he can't handle everything. And I hate when people are like, oh, Donald Trump will come and fix the leak in my roof. Donald Trump. No, he's got shit to do. We hired a lot of people in that administration to take care of the accountability and straighten this out, and everything would get a lot smoother. We would be less divisive. And one more thing. The good news is, all you people that text me and email me, hey, Scott, this is the Scott. It's it. It's over. The non-assimilating religious culture is coming here, and they're going to take over America. No, they're never going to take over America. They're going to take over these cities. There's a pocket of cities that have 8 million here, 6 million there, but there are 200 million men and women in this country who are locked and loaded with more weapons and ammunition than all of the people in the entire world combined.
I mean, are you sure about this? I know, but I got to tell you, I get a lot of those phone calls too. And just 2 days ago, Scott LoBaido, the amazing patriot, just 2 days ago on Truth Social, President Trump, forget about Siggy Flicker, forget about me, President Trump put on his Truth Social a story about how alarming it is to watch the Islamic radicalization of America. Trump had it on Truth Social.
Yeah, it's here, but it's happening in the big cities. We see more of it because the media, social media, we live in the city, and it happens in the city because the cities are weak and woke, and they allow this to happen. But when it gets to that point, trust me, nobody has traveled this country like I have. You saw the movie 3 times over. I've lived with every family, slept in people's barns. I saw their cachet of weapons. I shopped their incredible amount of guns with them. When that shot gets fired, when that one shot gets fired, that they are here to take over and spread, trust me, they are locked and loaded. They are quiet right now, but these people are never going to let it get to that point. Sadly, we are just about at that point where it's going to happen because of what we allow to happen in these cities.
Scott LoBaido, always an amazing job on this show. People love this segment. I know I do. He is the amazing artist out of Staten Island, the relentless patriot, one of my favorite people. I can't wait to celebrate 250 with this guy, Scott LoBaido, as always on a Wednesday. Great job, Scott. Thank you so much. I do want to send this shout-out out to this beautiful couple. They own a lovely florist in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I guess it's called Greenpoint Florist. Nick and his beautiful wife. And according to my friend Joseph, they love the show and listen every day. So thank you to the folks at Greenpoint Florist. We've got Danielle's Florist, you know. Not my wife. The name of the place is actually Danielle's Florist. You go there for your stuff, right?
The home of the 11 for a dozen?
Yes. No, now we get 13 for 12.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, they felt bad after the first time. Those guys were so great. They do a great job. LoBaido, great job. Thank you. That wraps up our first 2 hours of today's program.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Knickerbockers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Are you still a Knick fan, President Trump?
Well, I am, and I get along with Jim Dolan. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's entitled to a good team because he's suffered a little bit. And, boy, some of these players have turned out to be great players.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia is a tough team. You look at them as a team. Their center, Embiid, he's a big guy. And, no, you thought they would be good, and they were winning by 35 points. It's great. No, I really like Jim Dolan a lot. I'm really happy for him and for the team. I think it's great.
He's rooting for the Knicks. He even unprovoked brought up the name of Joel Embiid. My next guest was on Chris Cuomo last night. We'll get to that conversation on News Nation. But he's a diehard Knick fan, my next guest. He's a great basketball guy. He's on this show a lot. He's a brilliant stand-up comic. I've seen him a bunch of times at Caroline's. He's really funny, and he's been a great actor. And I mean a great actor. God, it's got to be 20-something years. He's my dear friend Michael Rapaport. Rob, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Sid, I'm doing good. How you feeling? I feel so bad because I know you got word that I was on Chris Cuomo last night. I already told you, and I'm saying this again publicly, and you can record me, have your crack staff record this, document it, that when I officially announce that the campaign for me to become mayor of New York City 2029 happens, I will be in the studio, and I will be bringing us, you and me, and I don't eat it, but I know you do. I don't want to give your secrets. McDonald's. I will get you an Egg McMuffin, okay, and we'll have an early milkshake, and I will announce in person with you and with you only. I felt so bad. You're like, did you announce it? I said, I already told you. When I announced, I'm coming in the studio with my main man. Okay,
I know
with
that.
My main man, period.
I know that, but then Jake Novak is filling in for Noam this morning, and he played a clip.
Jake doesn't know what's going on. You said official. I said, what is Jake talking about? Jake's on at 3:30 in the morning. Jake doesn't know whether he's coming or going at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, that may be true, but he played a clip of you with Chris last night.
I know, but listen, people want it because you know what it is. Cuomo, and people were obviously very, very upset, as I was, and as you were, and I think. Oh, I didn't call in yesterday because I was listening to you because yesterday was when you had Trump on. But I was listening to some of the people you had on. Actually, you and I were texting. But I was so deeply offended and hurt and angered by what I saw yet again outside that synagogue in Midwood, Brooklyn. And Sid, I don't have to be a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist. Inevitably, what's going to happen, we could see the writing on the wall. Inevitably, what's going to happen in one of these protests, and I don't know who it's going to be, and I don't wish this to happen, but it's just the temperature and the climate and the momentum. Someone's going to get killed at one of these protests outside a synagogue in New York City because it went from what happened at Columbia, harassing Jews. It went from Zionists here with Mahmoud Khalil, and then it went for these dingbat, girls with their pink hair and the nose rings. And they do have pink hair and nose rings. That's not a stereotype doing it. But when you get men coming up to other men, something is going to happen. And the writing is on the wall. And you know that movie, Do the Right Thing, after the person got killed the next morning? We're all going to be sitting here going,
that's right.
Could it have been avoided?
Yep.
Should it have been avoided?
Yep.
And one thing that hasn't been done, Adams didn't do it, Kathy the hack Hochul, she hasn't done it. It's really her job. You want to protest? Knock yourself out. But at very least, these dogs, these animals, these S-bags, these pigs, they should be forced to not wear masks. And I think that if they're not able to wear masks, there'll be normal protesters. I think there'll be less protesters, and they won't be as bold and brave to do what they've been doing in New York City. We're going on 3 years.
3 years. And I'll tell you and the proof is in the pudding.
Someone's going to get killed.
You're right.
Someone's going to get killed.
I
We
think
all
you're
know
right.
this.
Yes, someone is going to get killed. And the proof is in the pudding. Where I can prove you're right, Michael, is they did it in Nassau County. My friend Mazi Pillip and Bruce Blakeman, they took the masks off. And they very rarely, if ever, have any of these because these people are cowards. Some of them, they're not paid. Their mom and dad may see them. They'll get into trouble, their brother or sister. So they hide their faces because they want to be part of this horrible movement. They don't want to be recognized. But you're right. You got to take them off. Now, Dove Hyken was on the show yesterday while you were texting me, former assemblyman out of Borough Park, Brooklyn, for the better part of 40 years. And I love Dove, and he's gone to jail many times protecting Jews in the street with his fists. And he said, and I agree, Michael Rapaport, enough with the stupid, the horns. You're out there with the bullhorn and yelling and screaming how we're the victims. Dove says, listen, the ADL, that's not our grandfather's ADL. The JDL, that's not our grandfather's JDL. We need to start training Jewish people to physically, not bullhorns, nonsense, or Instagram posts, to physically defend themselves in the streets of New York City. Is that too much for you? Or like me, do you agree?
No, I agree. I totally agree. But Sid, I it's one thing, to fist fight. It's one thing to duke it out. But I'm telling you, I'm seriously concerned. And I'm not concerned. I just know it because, like I said, someone's going to get killed. Someone is, and if it's not one person, it's going to be like some sort of terrible massacre in our own city, and we're all going to be saying he could have done this, she should have done this. But the one thing that I keep going back to, protest. It's the American way. Do all that. You want to be a scumbag outside of a synagogue, be a scumbag outside of a synagogue. But at least you should not be able to cover your face.
Agreed.
Because you can get away with so much more when you cover your face. You're not Billy the Kid. and you know what, Sid? It's also the thing that I realized about what happened in Brooklyn the other night. If you could make it here, you could make it anywhere. If you could do that in New York City, you could do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Because what I saw the other night in Brooklyn, in harassing Jewish kids in their own neighborhood, grown men sticking flashlights and kids riding their bike in their own neighborhood with yarmulkes on. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's not okay. But like Frank Sinatra said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you could do that crap in New York City, it's all fair game.
It is, until you find a Republican governor like Ron DeSantis who will bash these people. I'm serious. Forget about First Amendment rights. His cops will bash these people across the face. That's why you don't see these types of events in Boca, in Fort Lauderdale, in Miami, just in blue sanctuary cities, blue sanctuary states, these ridiculous anti-Semite-Democrats. That's where you see it. Tell me about this. My father's birthday, he's gone now. God, he's gone almost 6 years. But my dad's birthday is June the 9th, the great Harvey Rosenberg. And something big is going on June the 9th on my dad's birthday. There's a documentary screening at Tribeca Film Festival in New York City. I believe the name of it is Am I Canceled Yet? You know anything about this, Mike?
Yes. And you're the first person I'm speaking about this publicly. We made a beautiful film about my journey, sort of going through what's similar to what you've gone through, and a lot of other people have gone through. Mine has just been a little bit more public, and yours has obviously been public because, we're public people. Post October 7th. And it's a beautiful film. It's an inspiring film. It's also even darkly funny, but I'm very, very excited about showing it to people. And it's incredibly personal, and I hopefully, inspiring. And it's not just for Jews; it's for everybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful film, and it's called "Am I Canceled?" It's a documentary. As you know, I am an award-winning documentary filmmaker. My 30 for 30 about the New York Knicks when the Garden was Eden. We won the Emmy for that. So I've made documentaries, this is definitely very personal, dramatic, but also very funny because it's told the narrative part of it is me doing comedy, and then it's walking through the journey of trips to Israel, the stuff that we did, the protests in New York and all of it. It's good, and really fighting fighting against all the anti-Semitism, all the anti-Jewishness, and really essentially fighting for the release of the hostages, which Baruch Hashem we got, although obviously they all didn't come out alive.
Right. You sound like a mayor to me, man. I swear to God. And I know you said last night that you'll run for mayor unless you deem somebody, with Chris Cuomo, better. Maybe not better, but unless you deem somebody good, then you'll consider not running. But I don't think that's the case so far. Curtis is running again. He's been a joke twice.
Is he running again?
Yeah.
Is he running?
Yeah.
Someone's going to support this caca again? Kung Fu Curtis is going to do it again?
Yeah.
I listen, it's 4 years away. This is the only even idea, the only even thought why I'm considering to run for mayor is because I love this city. I don't know politicians. I've never been to D.C. on a political. I don't know anybody. I haven't known any of these people's phone numbers. I don't want to be governor. I don't want to be president. I want our city to be back. I want people of New York to feel proud. I want people of New York to feel safe. I want people of New York to feel included. And this bozo, Zohran the moron, is not doing that. And then I'm going to tell you something. The only way to beat this guy, Sid, you can't out cute this guy. You can't out politic this guy. You can't out smile this guy. It needs to be treated. My campaign will be treated with a New York City street fight mentality. Okay, it needs to be a dog fight. It needs to be a doodle fling, and it needs to be must-watch TV because he needs to be mocked. He needs to be shamed, and he needs to be called out on his bullcrap. He's talking about all these crises in New York. He's talking about the crime. He's talking about the affordability. Then why are you smiling? Why, if it's so bad, what's with the perpetual smile?
It's true.
And where's your dad?
Yeah.
And what has your wife tweeted lately? These are the questions I want to know.
These are good questions.
Where's your dad? That sick professor. Where is he? What's he up to? And what's going on with your wife's social media accounts? That's and why are you smiling? If you're saying things are so bad and people can't afford groceries, why the smile all the time?
Right, and then he's
show me some tears.
Right, he should be crying. He's a liar too. He was so upset about all the money issues here. The budget was coming up. He's got to raise property taxes. He's got to tax his second home. And all of a sudden yesterday, this is good news. I found a way to close the gap. Only $125 billion. Yeah, because Hochul gave him $8 billion. You have to go after this guy, Pal Order, by the way. I don't know if you know who this guy is, AWDA. He's the face behind a lot of these issues in New York. He's a guy that eventually you're going to have to go after when you become mayor of New York. But I will say this. The other night, when the Knicks closed out the 76ers, we got about 60 seconds to go. I was nauseous, Michael Rapaport, watching Mamdani tweet about the Knicks. Give me a break. He couldn't tell you who the hell Rory Sparrow is. Kathy Hochul tweeting about the Knicks. They have no idea about our team. Right, exactly. I know this.
You don't know
if the Knicks win and you're mayor.
Ray Williams.
Right. Michael Ray Williams.
Cartwright.
Yeah, they don't know any of those people, but you do. So when the Knicks win, if you're mayor, that'll be a real celebration.
Oh yeah, I mean this guy can't make a layup with his left hand. A free Kathy Hochul. Listen, we're on Mamdani. Kathy the Hack Hochul. She needs to go. She's the big boss, and she gave him that money so she could get that endorsement. She needs to go.
That is the bottom line. She gave him that money so he will endorse her, which he hasn't done yet. She did it for him right away. He still hasn't done it. Okay, Mike, so on the way out here, you did make a statement on Chris Cuomo's TV show last night, but you are not officially running for mayor, and if you decide to do that, it's going to happen right here with me over an Egg McMuffin, yes?
I'm officially saying that when I make my official announcement, I will officially do it in person with you, Sid, eating some McDonald's early in the morning and giving ourselves stomach palpitations.
I love it.
Period. Don't ever question that again. You're my guy, Sid. You are my guy.
I love you, too. Thank you, Michael. You're an amazing guy. Too. I've been a fan of yours. It's like surreal for me. You have to understand. Talking to President Trump yesterday because I love him so much. Talking to you. I loved your movies 20 years ago. And to think now that we're brothers and best friends, and I'm so proud of all you've done.
You're my guy.
Thank you. You too. And thank you very much, Michael Rapaport. That doc coming out, this guy has given up a lot of money, a lot of opportunity. Michael Rapaport walking the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, sitting with the hostages' parents, doing all that he's done the last 3 years. He's taken a beating. He has. I'm not sure he'll admit it, but he's lost opportunities, a lot of opportunities, because Hollywood don't like Jews. Hollywood don't like guys who care about good things. And Michael Rapaport said, you know what? My integrity, my heart is more important than my next movie role. So Michael Rapaport is a hero as well. And if he wants to run for mayor and I decide not to, I would endorse him in 5 seconds. Michael Rapaport, great job. I love you. Short break when we get back. John Solomon, big name, big guy. John Solomon back on Sid and Friends in the morning. He's next.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
First openly gay player in NBA history, Jason Collins died.
Yes, I just saw that about an hour ago.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Gabe told me last night, 47. I had no idea he had some brain issues. But I was sad to see that.
Oh, very sad.
I met him many times. Very nice guy.
He's a nice guy, yes.
Yeah.
I've seen him interviewed a few times.
Super
Great.
guy.
That's sad.
So rest in peace to Jason Collins. John Solomon is really great. I read his stuff. I listen to him. But I'm a very shallow person. So I like John even more now because the only time he was on with me was a couple of weeks ago. And he, unprovoked, voluntarily said that his whole family loves me. So I said, good, get him back on. Here he is, my friend, John Solomon.
It's true. They listen every morning to you, Sid.
You are great. You really are.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. I'm not sure if you guys heard my interview with President Trump yesterday, but we did. Oh, you did? Okay, so you know that we did every major story going on. I did. He gave me 40 minutes, and I still had about an hour of stuff to get to. I don't know, John, how he does it. This guy, he's got 90 things going on at once.
It is an amazing thing. He doesn't rest. He is always working, always on. And he's told me, in our private conversations, that the reason is he's not going to rest for a minute because he feels like he has a job to fix this country so that his children and grandchildren will live in an America much like his and not like the one that we were hurtling towards during the Joe Biden years. And I think it just motivates him every day when he sees a young person, when he sees a soldier in the military at an event. He wants them to be living in the sort of country that he was able to grow up in and prosper in, and he didn't believe we were on that course until he took over. And so it just keeps him chugging every day. It is amazing. He has the energy of a 20-year-old, and that's why he gets so much done on a daily basis.
True, and he really wanted to win in 2016. I think he was surprised he did, but he wanted to win. But he really wanted this one. He sat there in Mar-a-Lago for 4 years and watched Biden destroy this country, destroy it. And he's like, I got to get back. He has no other reason than the love of country. The guy gets shot at, arrested, indicted. They take his money. He loves this country. John, he told him. He sat there for 4 years. I met him a couple of times just waiting for this opportunity.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And he understood that it was a narrow window to save America before it really hurtled towards where Europe is today. Look at Europe. It hardly resembles a Western civilization anymore. Same thing with Canada, hurtling towards socialism on a daily basis, suppressing its people, blocking their donations, tracking their donations. That's not Western society. And I think he realized that if he could save America, America could save the rest of Western civilization as we knew it. And I think that's what motivates him. You're right. He's taken on more aggravation than someone at his age and his wealth and his success needs to take on at this age. But I think it's just personal for him. Listen, on the stuff I do personally, I work on the weaponization and try to help people understand just how bad the intelligence community acted and how bad the law enforcement. He says to me, I don't care about myself. I've been through that. I don't want a future president to be hampered the way I was. So he's always looking forward. He's thinking about the America he's leaving behind. It's fascinating because a lot of times you think, well, he's got to be upset the FBI did this. Yeah, he is. But his motive now is, I just don't want it to happen to a future president. And I find that so fascinating that his gaze, his view is always at the horizon. What comes next for America? And that's an insight that you can only get when you get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, you're right. And I believe it. Even the Grand Ballroom, I mean, it has nothing to do with him. If we're lucky, if we get it built, he may be able to enjoy that for about 4 months. I mean,
That's
4 months,
That's
right? So all these new presidents, many of whom you have to imagine will be Democrats, they'd be the ones enjoying this beautiful, posh way to treat people from other countries and possibly save a president's life, and yet they call him selfish. It has nothing to do with him. Maybe 4 months. I want to get to China, though, John, because there seems to be a back and forth. Is this a trip about Trump pulling Xi by his ear into another room and saying, if you don't stop providing Iran with weapons, I'm really going to hurt you? Or is it about, hey, I've got Tim Cook right there. Look, Elon Musk is right there. I've got 17 of our brightest and best CEOs. Let's do some business. Which one is it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's a carrot and there's a stick, and some of the stick may be administered after the meeting if he doesn't get what he wants. Listen, China can't survive without access to American markets. It does not have a middle class to sell its wares to, and it could lose access, even if it lost a little access to the stock market, if it lost just a little access to the American marketplace, its economy would go into a tailspin. And so that is the big stick he carries. Now, President Trump's demeanor in these meetings is always to be positive, always to have frank discussions, but make it clear, hey, I could sanction China tomorrow for illicitly providing weapons to a rogue nation, Iran, and good luck getting in our marketplace. And the American people would be with me if I told them what you sent over, what you were contemplating sending over. So do you really want to go down that path? And, Xi, for all of his rhetoric and for all of his communist tendencies, he's pragmatic at the end of the day. And I think that President Trump is going to be candid, dangle the opportunity for future cooperation with America, but be clear, hey, you're going to become a war enemy in America, an economic war enemy, if you keep up what you're doing with Iran. Iran is not worth jeopardizing China's future for. Let's get them off the table, and let's focus on this. And that's the sort of deal-making I think he would do. I think there's a similar conversation that's been going on for months with Vladimir Putin. I think Vladimir Putin this past week can signal that, maybe this war thing with Ukraine's getting old. It's not going anywhere. So if you could get those two, number 2 and number 3 superpowers in the world to play ball nice on Iran, you make Iran go away, and then each of them has an opportunity to engage more constructively with the United States. And I think that's the big chess game that President Trump's playing. It's hard to do. These guys are wily. They're often dishonest. But I think he has the ultimate stick. You want access to the marketplace? You're going to start playing nice with us. No more looking the other way. And I think that's the message that he'll deliver in private. Publicly, I think he'll be jovial, and then we'll see what he comes back with. He'll give us an honest assessment when he comes back.
This is the great John Solomon, really terrific. And you're right. I think, Trump laid it out that way yesterday. You just did it again. I think you're right. I'm not sure he'll have any success because I don't trust the Chinese. I certainly don't trust the Russians. But I think he's going to do his best. And if anybody can do it, it's him. People say to me yesterday, they go, he's on his way to China. What's going on with Iran? Last I checked, the Hormuz, the Strait is still an issue. There were 4 levels down, but there's still a bunch of animals running that country. Last I checked, we still have not gotten that enriched uranium out. What the hell's going on? What's the answer to that, John?
Well, the answer is right now his best bet in sparing lives and military money and military equipment is to just stranglehold Iran. The economy in Iran is teetering. It cannot afford to have its oil wells start overflowing and burst. And so they're out of capacity. In some cases, they're dumping oil in the ocean short term to just keep the oil wells from having to be capped. He knows that is a sand clock that Iran can't survive, and so he's just being patient. He doesn't react to their rhetoric. He doesn't react to their little antagonizations. If they really want to start a larger conflict, I think he'll rain heck down. I think he'll unleash some of the laser weapons that we have that we don't currently use, and he'll create a shock and awe moment to show Iran you're really nothing. But at this moment, I think he thinks the patience of strangling them economically is probably going to lead both them and China. Keep in mind, there are 2 other people suffering downstream from the blocked Hormuz. One is China. It ain't getting its cheap oil from Iran right now, and the other is Russia. It's not getting its cheap drones that it was using to fight Ukraine. And Ukraine has made some pretty significant advances in the war the last few weeks. I mean, for the first time, you're seeing Ukraine making some gains because Russia's out of some of the drones. And so both those big players have an incentive to come and get Iran into a better negotiating position. I think President Trump is playing the patient game rather than just let missiles fly and keep beating them into smithereens. Let the economy, the economic salt clock wind down, because if they cap those wells, Iran won't have an economy for 5 to 10 years.
I know you got 2 minutes. You got to run here, John, but I got to talk about Mamdani for a second. You're in this city, and he's such a liar. On top of being an anti-Semite, an anti-American, anti-cop, communist, socialist, he's a liar. I mean, this budget that he came out with yesterday, he didn't meet any needs. He hasn't closed any gaps. He begged the governor. She's just as bad. She's a liar, too, and no good. She gives this guy $8 billion. You actually read the budget on Morano earlier this morning. There's nothing there. He hasn't closed anything significantly, and yet he's on the front of the newspaper. Look what I've done. And the story right above him has a bunch of masked people, John Solomon, in Brooklyn, terrorizing little Jewish kids outside a synagogue. What kind of liar, what kind of city is this guy running?
I've said this from the beginning. I think Mamdani will turn out to be America's greatest prize to freedom, because after people live under him for 8 to 10 months, they are going to crave the sort of freedom that they had before this guy ran in. Communism and socialism have never worked in America, and putting it in the capitalist city of the world, the capitalist capital of the world, will only make the contrast so dramatic. I think in 8 or 10 months, socialism's movement in America will have hit a blunt force called the Mamdani failure. I've always said that. I've just sort of felt, as tragic as it is to watch the great city of New York fall into the hands of a socialist, it may be the greatest learning moment that 2 young generations that were told socialism's good by their crazy teachers are going to have, which is, wait, he destroyed the city in a year. I think that that's the course that we're on, and he'll actually do a favor for American history, though for himself he'll be a fool when he's done. But I think that's where he's headed.
I think you're right, too. About to hit our knees like an addict and admit we're rock bottom. And Kenny will go down to Miami, and maybe John will go to St. Petersburg, and, you'll go wherever you go, and I'll go wherever I want to go. I don't know, maybe Florida, maybe California. I don't know. And then we'll come to the realization that, he really did blow it. John, you're amazing. Great job this morning, as always. Thank you so much.
Great to be on your show.
Thank you. Well, this guy's terrific. John Solomon right there on Sid and Friends in the morning with a great 10 minutes. We'll take a break. Got more coming. Not even close to being done. The amazing former Congressman Peter King. Bruce Blakeman was on last night on the Ingram Angle. It was actually hosted by Brian Kilmeade, not Laura Ingram. He talked about Mamdani and Hochul. And remember, Blakeman is less than a week away from a 90-minute meeting in the Oval Office with President Trump. He's making moves, our guy Bruce. We'll talk to Peter King next.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Bruce Blakeman, personal for many reasons. He's a Nassau County executive, which, by the way, is bigger than 8 states in this country in terms of density of population. And he's running for governor of New York, trying to flip that state, which I call home. Bruce, you're Jewish, you're a New Yorker, and this is getting way too common. What's your reaction to this violence?
Well, the problem is that we have a mayor who eggs these people on. Think about it, Brian. His first act as mayor was to redefine the definition of anti-Semitism, to water it down. He has said that he is somebody who supports the pro-Palestinian protesters, who are all paid protesters, or they're just really ignorant and evil people. These are people who are un-American. They hate American values. They're anti-Semitic. They're trying to intimidate Jewish people, especially in places of worship. This country was founded on religious freedom, and that's a violation of their constitutional rights. So I welcome the fact that the Justice Department is coming in to make sure that we put an end to this, because Zohran Mamdani has shown that he not only is not going to fight against it, he actually encourages this evil behavior towards Jews. He's a virulent anti-Semite, and he's going to be stopped. When I'm governor, I'm not going to let him get away with that stuff.
Hopefully he's a one and done. Here he is talking about just that. Listen.
Are you considering whether you personally putting your views about Israel out there is in any way fueling anti-Semitism in the city?
I think that critique of the policies of a government are very much separate from bigotry towards the people of a specific religious faith.
What does that mean, Bruce?
You know, Brian, 125,000 Christians were murdered over the last couple of years in Africa. Nobody says anything about it. You have Iran that is yearning for freedom, and they're one of the most oppressive totalitarian governments in the world. Not a word from Zohran Mamdani. You've got other places like Venezuela, China, Russia. No human rights, no civil rights. And this guy says nothing about them. He only focuses on Israel, which means to me he's a virulent anti-Semite. He's not criticizing government. He's criticizing Jews.
Israel, oh my God, Israel. That's all rooted in anti-Semitism. If you talk long enough to those people, whether it's Mamdani or Tucker Carlson, just trust me. Talk for a half hour. They will reveal themselves. I promise you. I promise you. They'll make some remark about the Jews that will have nothing to do with Bibi or policy. I promise you. It's nonsense. No. I'm anti-Zionist, but I'm not anti-Israel. No, you're a Jew-hating anti-Semite. That's what Mamdani is. And Blakeman talked about that last night. And again, this nonsense that he's boasting about this morning, how he found a way to gap the budget, $125 billion. He did nothing. I had a big-time council member, city council member on this morning. He said the same thing. It's a lie. He got bailed out. That's what happened. He got bailed out by a governor who hates this state and this city as much as he does. State's broke. We got no money. But Kathy Hochul found $4 billion for this year, $8 billion over 2 years to help out Zohran because she's scared to death of him. You didn't do anything well. You got bailed out. Let me explain something to you morons out there who are celebrating Zohran's budget today. Whether the money comes from the city or if it comes from the state, like in this case, Kathy Hochul's bailout, guess who's responsible for that? You are, stupid! The taxpayers in New York. That's you, you dumbass. He didn't save you anything. You pay city and state taxes, you moron, you dumb bastard. He didn't save you anything. He pulled the wool over your eyes. I can't wait to listen to Katie Honan and Marsha Kramer and Mackay and all these people later. Tell me what a great job, or this stupid Satmar rabbi, a Jew, a stupid Jew rabbi, telling me what a great job Mamdani did. How he kept his promise, all this money towards hate crimes. What hate crimes? There's one group of people under attack every day. It's not Muslims. Enough with the Islamophobia nonsense. It's not the Chinese. It's not the blacks. It's the Jews. So all that money needs to go towards anti-Semitism, not hate crimes. Happens to be, along with Rudy Giuliani, you can pick the order, King Giuliani, Giuliani King, one of the two best politicians in my 59 years, all those great years in Congress, Homeland Security, one of my dearest friends, the great Peter King. Pete, can you argue with anything I just said?
I agree 1,000%. And now you can speak to your people, Jews who support Mamdani. I cannot believe how any Jew could ever support Mamdani. I know it's always difficult getting involved with other people's religions and ethnic groups, but to me, just looking at it in a cold, practical way, everything this man says is anti-Semitic, anti-Israel. And again, sure, you can have policy differences with any country in the world, but no one articulates them or expresses them with the venom that Mamdani does toward Israel. And that's just the reality of it. And I'm glad that Bruce called him out on it last night. In fact, I was with Bruce at a campaign event up in the North Shore of Long Island, and Bruce had to leave in the middle of it to do the interview with Brian Kilmeade in the truck they had outside. Then Bruce came in for the second half of the event. But, I mean, he is fired up over this. And as a New Yorker, as an American, and as a proud Jew, he sees what's happening here. And I think he's very frustrated that the media overlooks it. I mean, every time something may go wrong on an IDF attack in Lebanon, it's all over the media. Politicians are denouncing it. Meanwhile, there's human rights being violated everywhere. And Mamdani is silent on that. It's only when it comes to whatever he thinks Israel is doing wrong. And most of the stuff he thinks they're doing wrong, I think they're doing right. And the fact is they are our closest ally. They're the only real democracy in the Middle East. That's the reality of it. And yet, to listen to him, the reality is he's enabling anti-Semitism. Those attacks in Brooklyn the other night, even then, I mean, they were covered by the media as if like it was a protest. There was competing sides. No, that was a anti-Semitic mob attacking Jews outside a temple. You know, I was obviously in politics for a long time, and there was always the occasional swastika would appear here or there. There would be some anti-Semitic remarks being made somewhere, but it was never serious. There was always some psychos off on the side. Now it's a concerted effort, and it's being enabled and supported by too many people in the mainstream, not just Jews, but also, again, by so many people who claim to be advocates of human rights and civil rights, but somehow they just look upon what is anti-Semitism as just an expression of free speech. I mean, God forbid that was done 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Every decent person would have been outraged. Today, it's like 50-50. And I find that really dangerous. I don't want New York to turn into, Berlin in the 1930s.
It is already. And, you get this guy, Christoph, who won 2 Pulitzer Prizes, okay? This guy's a real big deal, right? He writes a story in the New York Times. You can't make this up. That Israel has been training dogs to rape Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Swear to God, he wrote the story like it's fact. Israel is training dogs to rape Palestinian prisoners. In the meantime, NewYorkPost.com this morning, top story. We have found out, we knew this already, that Hamas not only raped innocent girls and guys, but mostly girls, obviously, but they actually made some of their hostages, family members, have sex. They made brothers and sisters have sex, fathers and daughters have sex to further humiliate them and try to destroy the family. The New York Times wrote a piece about Israeli training dogs to rape Palestinians. You think anyone's going to talk about the latest story that involves Hamas that the New York Post did write this morning?
No, at most, it might get a footnote in some story about Israel doing the wrong thing. I mean, it's just such bias that's out there. And it's at its root, though, Sid, yes, it's anti-Semitism. It's also anti-Americanism. Because right now, Israel is the most prominent voice out there, standing for the values of the Judeo-Christian world, exemplified by the United States. So if they can attack Jews, if they can attack Israel, then that just weakens America. And again, all the traditions and values and principles we have, neighborhood beliefs, all that's being torn apart. So it's, again, the Jews are the front ones right now. They're getting hit, but in many ways they're just taking the blows for the rest of us. Yeah. So this is an assault on really Western values, Judeo-Christian values, which have sustained ups and downs, but for 2,000 years we've had these values, and that's what really dominates in the democratic countries of the world. Yep. And that's what people like Mamdani are against.
One more on this. I grew up in that Midwood section of Brooklyn. I grew up 2216 Quentin Road, right there. East 22nd and Quentin. My beautiful wife, Danielle, grew up on East 14th and N, also right there. We're both from that Midwood section. I know we went, to the shul there, the big shul in Midwood, at least once, And to see it happen, I know Ina Vernikov is a great council member, and she fights her ass off every day on behalf of Americans and Jews. But there's only so much she can do. To see that happen in Brooklyn, and then when Michael Rapaport calls in earlier, the great actor and comedian, and he said, Sid, here's my problem. All these cowards that show up, some are paid, no doubt about it, but we tend to exaggerate how many are. There are plenty of people in this city, in this state, that are losers. They got nothing. They can't wait to throw on a keffiyeh and a mask and go out, and they stand for something. It could be something bad, but they stand for something. Why is it that in your county, between Mazi Pilip and Bruce Blakeman, you can't wear a mask? But all over Brooklyn, all over Queens, these people are still wearing masks. Why won't Kathy Hochul do something about that?
A few things they said. First of all, let me just say that I think and I agree with you. We have to stop the talk about all these protesters being paid, elections are being stolen. Now, the fact is there is a significant number of people in this country who are anti-Semitic, are anti-American, and go against our values. They don't have to be paid off. They're going to be out there, and they have to face up to that. As far as Nassau County and Kathy Hochul, that's the difference between Bruce Blakeman and Kathy Hochul. Bruce Blakeman has made it clear that you cannot wear masks at demonstrations. He's going to enforce that. It was introduced by, again, Mazi Philip, a African-American from Ethiopia who fought in the Israeli IDF. She's over here now as a county legislator, and she was the main sponsor of that bill. It was overwhelmingly supported by the Republican Party and by Bruce Blakeman. And yet Kathy Hochul up there finds a million reasons why it can't be done, because they don't want to offend the elite people, those who somehow look down on those as being like middle class values, overreactions. No, they're not. And again, Bruce is out there day in and day out. Pat Ryder is out there day in and day out. I attend various meetings that the police department has. If there's even anywhere in any school or any area, even an indication of anti-Semitism, the police are there. Bruce is there. Pat Ryder, it's his marching orders that were given to him and the orders that he gives to the police out there. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated anyway, and if they have to take tough measures, they will. That's just the reality. Also, to divert a bit, there was a major arrest the other night of someone who was actually involved in trying to blow up cars. It was really a crazy thing, to 10 of them over the last several months. He was finally arrested, but he was ordered released because he was an illegal immigrant, and this did not meet the bail standards. And in any other part of, certainly in New York City, he would have walked free. It was arranged that within minutes, or within hours, whatever the time limit was, the National Police notified ICE. ICE grabbed the guy, and he's going to be deported. So I mean, that's just an example of tough, strict, effective, but rational law enforcement. We shouldn't even be talking about this. I mean, you really let a guy who is an illegal immigrant who's attempting to blow up vehicles, let him walk free and not allow the federal government to get involved?
That's crazy. I know. And you guys did a great job, and I saw the story, and they gave the guy you just mentioned, who I love, Pat Ryder, one of the great police commissioners in this country, gave him a lot of credit. He deserves it. And look, talking about illegals, I had this conversation, part of the long conversation with Trump yesterday. All these Democrats that hate ICE, because troublemaker Good ended up dead, God rest her soul. Troublemaker Petty ended up dead, God rest his soul. They're not talking about the thousands and thousands and thousands of really bad people, murderers, rapists, drug dealers that have been arrested, that have been deported, okay? They talk about 2 people that never should have been there. Never. Didn't deserve to die, but shouldn't have been there. That's what they talk about. In your county, you know it full well. Only a couple of weeks removed, if I'm wrong, correct me, from some crazy illegal going to not 1, but 2 different locations and stabbing 2 innocent women to death, slitting their throats.
And Bruce pointed out last night there have been more than 2,000 violent criminals taken out of Nassau County by ICE. These illegal immigrants, they were violent. We're not talking about innocent people hanging out. These were people guilty of criminal charges, and they were captured by now. As Bruce said, where in Nassau County do we want to put those 2,000 people? If ICE wasn't there and they couldn't be arrested, you put them in Garden City, you put them in Seaford, you put them in Wandsworth. Where are you going to allow these illegal criminals to stay? Fact is, they're out of here, and they should be out of here, and we got to keep doing it, and that should be done in New York City. Unfortunately, we have a mayor who doesn't want that done. We have a governor who somehow claims we're a sanctuary state or whatever she calls us. None of that is legal. And so any differences anybody has with President Trump, as Bruce Blakeman and Pat Ryder said, that 287 law is going to exist in Nassau County. And it's going to exist statewide. If Bruce is there, we have to cooperate with the federal government, with federal law enforcement, to get the illegal criminals out of the country. It's as simple as that. And again, we should not even be talking about this. That's what gets me.
I know.
We shouldn't be talking about anti-Semitic riots in Brooklyn and how far they should be allowed to go.
Right.
And they're just wrong. It's as simple as that. Stop them, end them.
You're exactly right. The fact we're even having this discussion makes me equally as angry as the videos I watch. Great former Congressman Peter King, and does a tremendous job on this show every Wednesday. He's on the station all week. You know why. Hey, Pete, let me get to your diplomacy. You're great with that, too. China. There's 2 different ways to look at this trip. I've talked about it all morning long with Rich Lowry, with John Solomon. 2 things at play here. Trump's going to go there. He's going to grab Xi by the ear, I promise you, drag him into a different room and say, if you don't stop giving weapons to Iran, I'm really going to kick your ass. Okay? And then he's going to say, and by the way, look who I brought with me. There's Tim Cook. He's from Apple. There's Elon Musk. There's my guy from Boeing. I mean, he's got 17 of the most successful and influential CEOs in our country. So Trump is looking at this as a huge, as he should, business opportunity for trade and money. for China. So two things at play here, right? You've got the war in Iran, but maybe even bigger for Trump is the ability to bring back money for the United States. Your thoughts on this trip?
Yeah, he has to try to do it all. In fact, it is important. I know he says President Xi is his friend, but the fact is Xi is, by all valid reports, supplying weapons and supplies to Iran, which is killing Americans. He's also threatening Taiwan, which we have to defend. And also, it's important that we realize that, again, they need us more than we need them for the economy. No one wants to get involved in a trade war with China, but if it comes down to it, we would win and they would lose. So I think the president has to make that clear. The fact that China, as hard as they're trying, they are still not what the United States is in any way, militarily or economically. We have the upper hand, and everything efforts we made, they should stop what they're doing with Iran. They can put pressure on Iran. Also, we are more than willing to work with them economically, but they can't be constantly involved in industrial espionage, having a Chinese police station right here in New York, having a Chinese mayor who was a communist agent in California.
Yeah.
So, no, there's a lot of pressure here. I think President Trump can do it. He has to do it. And, again, President Xi may be his friend, but he's not a friend of the United States. He is an adversary. He's a foe. We have to keep that in mind. We can do it diplomatically, but we have to do it. And if anyone can do it, it's President Trump. If anyone can make a tough deal, it's Donald Trump.
You know, you say he's not his friend. He's not the country's friend. He's the president's friend. And the president does this stuff all the time. Only the idiots, the liberal media, the Democrats, they take it literally. He'll call Putin a friend. He'll call Kim Jong-un a friend. He doesn't like Russia. He doesn't like North Korea. Doesn't like China. But he has...
Good things about Mamdani. We know what he really feels
Right,
about him.
exactly. I tried again yesterday to do my best. He won't talk bad about Mamdani because he has figured out that instead of bashing them like Democrats do, you get nowhere. You're nice. I know how he feels in his heart of hearts, but he's proven he gets stuff done. But you're right about Xi. Now let's go to Putin. It turns out that maybe he's coming to the realization it ain't working. He's not doing well militarily, right? He would eventually win, but God, how many people have to die before that's the case? It has basically bankrupted Russia. So reports were a couple of days ago that Putin is considering maybe it's time to end the war. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's lost, I think, twice as many people as Ukraine has lost.
Yep.
I think they've gained almost, 1% of what they were trying to get on the land, and to lose that many people, and again, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. And hopefully, again, right now, Putin is very ripe to have pressure put on him to do the right thing, call an end to this, give valid security guarantees to Ukraine and the aggression, and then go forward. Ukraine doesn't have to be in NATO, but if they get some guarantees against Russia, if Putin backs off, because it's to his advantage also. We've shown that we're not going to allow Russia to win. We're not going to allow Russia to be a dominant power in Europe, and he should realize that. And, again, President Trump is in a unique position to do that, both with China and with Russia.
I think he's going to do it both. I think he's going to find a way to end all of it. He's already ended 8 world conflicts. It may be 10 or 11 by the time he's done. Who knows? Peter King, as always.
I'll give you some advice, though. You're saying that you have to be nice. You have to start being nice to people. You can't be fighting with every rabbi. You can't be fighting with everyone who comes on your show. Right. And I did find out 2 people like you last night. I saw Lee and Leah from the Nassau Police.
Love them.
They said, give their love to Sid. Oh, my
great.
God. That's all you have to say to me. Give your love to Sid. My God, it ruined my night. You know?
But that happens to you.
How great it was to see me, you know.
But that happens to you every day. I mean, basically every day. Let's be honest, Pete, right? Every day somebody says, you spoke to Sid today. How cool is that, right?
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either, but I have to say.
Give my regards to those 2 lovely ladies and great crime fighters, too. They do a great job protecting Bruce and you. Pete King, great job. I love you, buddy, as always. Thank you so much.
You got to say thanks.
The great Pete King right there, the amazing congressman, Homeland Security, and nothing you can't discuss with Pete either. He is well-rounded, knows everything. So thank you, Pete, for another great Wednesday appearance. Novak's got the news.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Entertaining and informative.
Oh, you're my best friend.
77 WABC.
Yossi, ladies and gentlemen, the new Sid and Friends theme song. That is a kick-ass song. About the 3 days, people telling me, man, where's that guy? It's like a mix between the Hank Williams Monday Night Football theme, the ESPN College Game Day theme on a Saturday morning. That's a country singer. A little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan in there. Country Yossi. I don't think he's with the Satmar community. I'm getting yelled at by somebody in the city. I'm not going to say who it is, but...
You're saying his name right now, right?
Yossi, yes.
Yossi, okay.
I called him Yossi earlier, but they're like, hey, could you lighten up, please, on the Satmar community? I'm like, no. Well, not everybody is in agreement with that specific rabbi that I've been hammering all morning long. And, I don't want to say his name, but I'm going to. Rabbi Indig. Rabbi Indig is on Twitter congratulating Mamdani for making New York safe for Jews. Really? Rabbi, what's your address? I'll send you the videos from Brooklyn the last couple of nights. I mean, are you nuts? Are you nuts? Congratulating Mamdani on the budget? Why? He got bailed out by the governor, $8 billion. Who pays for that, Rabbi? Well, maybe you don't. Because, the religion and all that nonsense. I don't know. But I will. I'll have to pay for that. So I'm not sure if this rabbi actually does represent the whole Satmar community, but I do remember during Sukkot a couple years ago, when he was still running, Mayor Mamdani, that the Satmar community had the mayor inside their sukkah. You remember that, Justin? You remember me going nuts that morning?
Yep.
I went nuts in their sukkah. The person said, well, listen, they have to have a working relationship with the mayor. No, they don't. No, Jessica Tisch does. I get it. She has to. I know. I just heard Greg Kelly, and I love Greg. First of all, thank you, Greg. That was very sweet. Played my whole interview yesterday. Was really very nice and had a lot of nice things to say about it. Texted me, congratulations. I love Greg. I do. I love him. We become really good friends. But he's way too much with Jessica, way too much. She has no choice. And if you want Jessica gone, Greg, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else, God forbid when you see the next person. You got to calm down, Greg, okay? Because you want Jessica gone. God forbid when you see the next person, some DSA Muslim lady who really hates us. So Jessica's got to be a little careful. I get it. But the Satmar community, why do they got to be careful? They got to work with the mayor? Why? I don't get it. So I'm sure the whole community, yes, is not in agreement with this specific rabbi. But until somebody calls me and tells me differently, they're in my crosshairs. And let me say this. You don't want to be in Sid Rosenberg's crosshairs in this city. Because I got a lot of people listening. A lot. Don't forget, I got a text yesterday from the State Department, okay? I got a lot of people listening. Most in New York, but all over the country and world, Israel. And the last thing you want to hear is me yelling and screaming about you like I've done today with this rabbi for 4 hours. But somebody call me then and tell me differently. Because all I'm seeing is bad stuff. I told you, I was the first to say to President Trump, before he even said it, any Jew that votes for a Democrat is a lousy Jew. I said it. I was the one that nicknamed Doug Emhoff, at the time, he still is, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris, crappy Jew, even though Jessica Tarlov continues to blame Trump for that on Fox News because she's a dummy. It was me. I called him a crappy Jew. And I'll do it again. Doug Emhoff is still a crappy Jew, just like Chuck Schumer and Jamie Raskin and Jerry Nadler and Bernie Sanders. They're all crappy Jews, all of them. Any Jew that votes for a Democrat is nuts. And to take it a step further, any Jew that voted for and continues to compliment Mamdani is sick. You're worse than a loser. You're sick. Sick people. What else does this guy have to do and or say to prove to you that he doesn't like you? Tell me. What else? What am I missing? So get one of your people on, because I don't like criticizing the Jewish people. I know it hurts us in the end because guess what happens? The anti-Semites go, oh, even loudmouth Zionist Rosenberg was beating up on the Jews. I'll see that on Twitter a bunch today. I'm not beating up on the Jews, okay? I'm beating up on a certain percentage. Small, very small. I don't even know these people. But they're doing a disservice to my people and, more importantly, this city, because I am America first. So if you got an issue with what I'm saying this morning, pick up the phone, get one of your leaders over there, I don't know, the Jim Jones of that community, and give me a call. What are you laughing at there?
That was good.
You're getting right to the edge right now.
That got me. That was good.
Well, they don't drink Kool-Aid. They drink Manischewitz. We'll take a short break.
Is this the Jim Jones?
Come on, baby. Step it up. You got a big, big bully pulpit right here, and if you can correct me, I'm fine. I've been proven wrong on this show before a lot. I don't care about that. That's one thing about me, and Lou, you know this. We used to work in sports, and if you corrected people like Francesa, they went nuts. They went nuts. I don't care if I'm making a mistake, if I'm saying something that's inaccurate. If you can prove I'm wrong, fine. Very rarely can you, but fine. I don't care.
I didn't go near Francesa if he said the globe was flat. I didn't.
Yeah. No, he would get so angry.
Certain studies have shown that Columbus almost sailed right off the world.
Right, exactly.
So to tell me that it's round is you are giving it a disservice.
And he would do that. He would go on and make some ridiculous explanation.
No. Those players are not good. You don't know. I do.
Right, exactly. No. I don't care. I don't care about that. I never, ever consider myself the smartest guy in the room. Most entertaining, handsome, sure. Both of those.
So
especially in this room.
Smart. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So smartest is down on the
list.
Yeah. Not okay.
Certainly most entertaining, best looking.
Okay, who's the smartest right now?
In this room?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's me because it's not the competition. Is not exactly. I mean, come on, Lou. You got you, Alec, Novak. Come on.
Okay, but I'm just asking.
Well, technically, we're in a different room.
That's right. You have nobody in your room.
See how stupid I am?
We're speaking in technical terms.
Yeah.
Big pane.
So I got you.
See?
Yeah, big pane of glass in between us, too.
I mean, Lou's very smart. Lou may be smarter than me. I don't know. Alex definitely not because he's too young. See, the reason why Alex... No, I'm being serious. You'll never find a 20-year-old person who's smarter than me.
Yeah, of course. I don't have the life experience.
Bang, there it is. You can read all the books you want. You can be well-learned. You'll never be as smart as I am because you got to go through it. When young kids ask me, hey, Sid, how'd you get there? And I know Danielle gets angry, but I said, I went to jail. I went to rehab. Now, you think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Because that type of life experience provides you with a perspective on a whole variety of issues.
That's why I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
Can't be taught.
Right, well, that's why you're never going to be as smart as I am or as successful. So that's what I tell the kids.
Entertaining?
Yeah.
Or entertaining. Right.
Introducing the most handsome, entertaining, smartest person by himself in one room.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to talking about beautiful people. Camille and her son, Anthony. I love this kid. And he was diagnosed with Williams syndrome, and they come in every year. I went to a great event. I took Gabriel, my son. He loved it, too. And Mark Oranger. We went to a baseball game for the Brooklyn Cyclones, actually, Steve Cohen, who's got TDS like no one you know. I mean, God forbid you mention Trump in front of Steve Cohen. He'll set himself on fire. It's not the same Steve Cohen who owns the Mets, ironically, or the Steve Cohen that worked with us at WFAN.
Wow,
same name.
Another one.
He's the GM of the Brooklyn Cyclones. Overall, a pretty nice guy. I like Steve, but with politics, he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. But they put on a baseball game last year for Williams syndrome, and it was a lovely event. And we went there for that. They've got a gala coming up, all kinds of cool stuff. So Camille and Anthony.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Whatever Italian restaurant you like. I also like Harry's down by Gold Street. My buddy Danny's place. I think Michael's is the best Italian restaurant in New York. Nostrand Avenue, Avenue R. Michael and Freddie, they're legends. And Danielle and I. Danielle says hello, by the way.
Thank you. Hello.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony. We saw Camille there a couple of weeks ago with Robbie Sabah's wife.
I know Sid Rosenberg.
You do know me, don't you?
Yeah, I know you once.
Yeah. I put your videos up all the time, my friend. So Michael's listening and Oranger and all our good friends from Brooklyn because What I've come to learn over the last year, since Anthony was here last year, Camille, and your daughter was here. No Rose today. Where's Rose?
She had a final.
She had a final. Okay. You are beloved. Your husband's a great guy too. Steve's a great guy. But whether it's Mill Basin or Kings Highway or any part of Bay Ridge, you guys are really beloved in Brooklyn. What do you chalk that up to?
Oh, thank you. Listen, we're very lucky to have some great friends, great supporters. I always say how we build our tribe has a lot to say about the people that we are. So really just blessed to have so many great friends and family.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're loved, Anthony?
Of course I do, Sid Rosenberg.
Yeah, he's so cute. I like the fact I have my kids. I want my kids from now on. Ava and Gabriel start calling me Sid Rosenberg. For folks that don't know much about this, if they didn't hear you on this show last year or event in Brooklyn, what exactly is Williams syndrome?
Sure. So it's a rare genetic disease caused by a microdeletion along chromosome 7. And in a nutshell, it causes systemic cardiovascular disease. So sudden cardiac arrest plagues the community. There's currently no medication or treatment. We've dedicated the last 14 years to awareness and advocacy to change that.
How old was Anthony when he was diagnosed with that?
So he was 2 years old when he was finally properly diagnosed. He was born very, very sick, but we didn't know what he had until his genetic testing at 2.
So he's 16.
Oh, no, now he's 14.
Oh, 14,
so my math
okay.
is off,
Okay. Yeah. But he looks so cute. Look at, first of all, who dressed you today, Anthony? Who picked that outfit out?
My dad.
Your dad? Steve's a handsome guy.
Yeah,
you look
I
so
know.
nice.
I know Dad. No, but sometimes I call him Steve. But I can call him Dad.
You can do that, right? Yeah. So I think that your sister is not taking a final. I think you made sure she stayed home today so you get more microphone time. That's what I think.
Yeah, I know, but Rosie is going to school today.
Yeah. And where do you go to school now, Anthony?
It was my second year.
Second year?
Yeah.
Aren't you up in he's like in Cape Cod or something, right? He's in the north.
Yeah.
You like it there?
I like it there, going new adventures like we never seen before.
Very cool. But you love Brooklyn though, right?
Yeah, this is where I live, but not in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Right. But you do. But you go to school in Cape Cod.
No.
You live in Brooklyn.
No. I go to a boarding school.
A boarding school.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, but I stay at I do some sleepovers at the dorm sometimes, but not all the time.
Not all the time. You love your bedroom in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
All right. Look how cute you are.
And my roommate is Beckett Reddy.
What's his name?
Beckett Reddy.
Is he listening right now?
No. He's my roommate.
He's your roommate. And where's he from, Anthony?
He is from Washington.
Georgia.
Oh, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Okay. So this kid's great. So. And you put him on like he's going to be on Z100 tonight with Martinez. You're doing a podcast, I think, coming up. So you guys, you're making your run in and around New York, making people, Camille, aware of, and he's so likable. He's a lovely little boy.
Yep.
But making people aware, Williams syndrome looks like a lot of big-time people in this city, me the biggest, are giving you this great opportunity, right?
Fantastic. It's been amazing. We, as you know, passed a resolution with Jamie Williams and Sam Pirozzolo 2 years ago declaring May Williams Syndrome Awareness Month in the state of New York. Would love a federal resolution to get a National Williams Syndrome Day. So if
Well, who did you give that to? I'm curious.
Well, Sam Pirozzolo, Jamie Williams on the state
No,
level.
local, I know. They went to the baseball game with us last year.
They were at
Jamie's
the
out of
baseball.
Brooklyn, Sammy's out of Staten Island.
Exactly.
Right. But who are you working with on the federal level?
No one.
Nobody
So if
yet,
anyone's
okay.
listening, we would love it.
No, listen, I'm doing the same thing with my son, Gabriel. He's got this proxy. He saw Gabe at Michael's a couple weeks ago. So I'm working with Democrats and Republicans in Congress as well to do something on a federal level there, too. But you're off to a great start already, getting it done here locally.
Absolutely.
That is not a small feat, Camille. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. We all went to Albany. We were on the floor while they passed the resolution. It was incredible. And so we're using May to really advocate awareness, especially because this is the month. Had so many great things already. We did a book signing with the creator from How I Met Your Mother the other night.
I know, that's
came
pretty
out with,
cool.
It was so cool. He just came out with a fantastic book about raising a child with a physical and intellectual disability. The podcast, which is launching on Thursday, we're super excited for. And all these different things to roll into.
What is the broadcast watching on Thursday for what?
For inner sense.
What does intercept mean?
Nobody knows.
Trust your
So
inner
that's an
sense.
excellent
Trust your
question.
gut.
Anthony, that's an excellent question. By the way, you have no intellectual issues, trust me. No one knows what that means, but it sounds fancy, right? It
I
sounds
know
fancy.
it sounds fancy, Sid Rosenberg. What should I do? Should I sing Should I sing a song or what?
You can do whatever you
That's up to
like.
him.
You know, you did that last year, and the people went nuts. They loved it. They loved it. What song did he sing last year, Camille? Do you remember?
I know My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's, you know, my boss, Don Catsimatidis, that's his favorite song. And Joe Piscopo does that song as well as Frank Sinatra did. Now, you can do it again. You can pick a different song. That's a fan favorite right there, Anthony. They love My Way.
Of course, but this song that I did in the jungle play is look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your stripes. I mean the bare necessities of Mother's Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life.
Oh, that is fantastic. I think I hear that song when I go to Disney World also, right? Didn't I hear that song a bunch of times? Absolutely. It's such a cute song. Well done, Anthony. You got talent, man. You got talent.
Know.
Oh, you know that already. Okay. I like when you end the sentence with "I know Sid Rosenberg." So could you repeat that again, please, Anthony?
What?
I know Sid Rosenberg.
I know you.
I know you know me. So is there a big gala coming up here, too, in the very near future?
There is.
What is
November.
that all about?
It's our Night of Love celebration of life signature event held at the beautiful El Carib, November 14th.
Do you know that when I was a child living on Quentin Road in Brooklyn, that my mom and dad, we had a summer cabana at the El Carib?
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know. Do they still do that?
They have a camp there. My son Gabriel went to their day camp years and years ago, and I lived with my sister in Mill Basin like 6 years ago. It's a great camp. Jack runs that thing. So I'm not sure if they still have the cabanas. I know Silver Gull is popular for that.
For sure.
But they still have a really good day camp at El Carib.
Yes.
It was a big deal. They make beautiful weddings there, too.
And
All
they
the
do
Gotti
such
kids get married
They do
there.
such an amazing event for us. They give us top shelf everything. We've held it there for several years.
Wow.
And it's an amazing event. I hope, Sid, you will be there to
What
join
night
us.
is this?
November 14th. It's a Saturday night.
Oh, good.
The event site is live. Sponsorships are available. Anyone who takes a sponsorship by 5/15, their name will also be on our printed invitations, which are going to print the end of the month. We'll have 3 amazing honorees. One doctor from Penn, who's the main researcher that we support. We purchased over $600,000 worth of cardiac medical equipment for his research last year into sudden death and Williams syndrome. We'll have the head of the Riverview School from Cape Cod also being an honoree, and Laurel Rossi, who's changing the force for individuals with neurodiversity in the workplace.
You say sudden death, you mean SIDS?
No, so what they have is systemic cardiovascular disease,
Right.
which leads
Mommy.
to diastolic issues,
Right.
which causes sudden cardiac arrest.
Got it. Yes, sir.
Yes,
jump in.
sorry.
This is gonna be a great date, but I wonder who's gonna be on our radio show today.
I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge later on. Right now, we're enjoying Sid.
Yeah. Anthony, I think come to that event and you and I will do a song together. So you figure that out, okay? You want to do it to what with me? I can sing too. I'm pretty good. What do you think, Ann? Nah, you just do the singing. That's fine. It's your party. Are you going to sing at that event, Anthony?
What?
November. Your big gala.
The bare necessity.
You're going to sing that again, okay? And are we doing a baseball game this year like we did last year?
So no, because we have a few other events planned. We're collaborating with ALC Fashion House in East Hampton this summer.
Oh, nice.
We've done one with Veronica Beard, Alice and Olivia, RH from Bay Ridge. So we have a few different things. Hopefully next summer we'll be back with the Cyclones.
All right, sounds good. What else is out there you want to tell the folks about before I let you two beautiful people run out of here today?
So, first I really just want to say you've been such a great friend to us, Sid. Your kindness, really, when we met you a few years ago, you said to me, anything you need, and you have truly held true to that. Last year, you had us on, you blew up our Instagram, come into the game to throw out the pitch, and then I asked you for today, and you said absolutely. So I hope you know truly from the bottom of my heart, not only to our family, but truly for individuals all around the world living with Williams syndrome, we are working very, very hard to make a difference. So the last breath I take on this earth, I'm not going to stop trying. We have a fierce eye for a therapeutic, and that's our goal. So really thank you for helping us get there.
Oh, God, you're welcome. You're beautiful. How many people around the world actually suffer from this, do you know?
Probably only about 30,000.
Yeah, small number.
It's just a small number, and so we don't get, federal funding or really people who want to necessarily be involved because it really just affects such a small proportion of the universe. But when it's your child.
Of course. Now, I'm going to send a picture to, he's in China today, but President Trump, and usually when I ask him to do something, he at the very least listens. I can't tell you he'll do something, but you only have to meet Anthony once to love this kid. So, hey, Anthony, you're going to have to go home soon. So you want to say something on the way out to this audience that has grown to love you so much? Any final messages, Anthony?
No, I think we're good.
You think you're good, yeah? Did you enjoy yourself today?
Yeah.
Yeah? You look very handsome. You sounded great. And I'm very proud of you, Anthony. And I love you very much. Okay, you're leaving? That's it? Okay. See ya. He's just walking out. That's it. That's it. Mic's off. Headphones are off.
I think he's done.
I think he's done.
You
That's
can learn
it.
from him,
That's it. He's got to go. Are you guys going to go for a night's lunch now or something?
We are. We're going to go.
Okay. Wait, your mic went off.
I love you, Sid.
There we go. I love you,
Okay.
too. What's the Instagram? Quickly, I love you, too.
AF Research Grant is our Instagram. Message us. We'd love to hear from everyone and anyone.
All right, stick around. We'll take a picture before you run out of here. That is Camille and Anthony Williams Syndrome. Come to the big gala in November and check out their Instagram. They've got events going on all the time. A lovely family and just a beautiful kid. Folks, help them out, okay? Do me a favor. And I'll take a short break and come back and wrap things up. What a great way to end the show with these people.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We'll cover the Preakness Stakes with Dick Girardi on Friday, but we'll talk to Cherie coming up tomorrow. Bill O'Reilly, just a huge segment in terms of ratings. None bigger. Trump loves it. Every Thursday, me and Bill O'Reilly, he'll be here tomorrow. And tomorrow marks the return in studio of our friend Elizabeth Pipko. She had a baby, and she hasn't been here. But she has no excuse. I mean, she's been on TV every day. Every day.
And she should bring the kid.
She doesn't have to bring the kid. Take it easy, Jill. What's the matter with you? The kid's like 3 months old.
I want to meet little Pipko.
He's a little bit excited right now, Justin. You know,
she doesn't do anything right now. All that kid does is make pee-pee and duty and eat. And
I'll clean it up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's put a pool together.
I'm sure the kid is with the husband, Darren, but you'll meet the kid at some point. But, you know, she's every day. She's on Fox News every day. Yeah. So she'll be back tomorrow. And then I got a special guest coming up on Friday, but I can't tell you about it yet. So. Couple of big days coming up,
That's
Louis.
One of those Francesa things.
I know. I
can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
Several coaches have told me it's something that no one.
Well, by the way, he didn't lie about that. Because I was in Mike's car when the phone would ring. In the old days, he had those big, bulky car phones. It would be Bill Parcells. Right. It would be Omar Minaya. He wasn't lying about that.
Or BK Sweeney's with the reservation already.
Right. Yeah. Make sure that you go to Uno's in Astoria, and I want 3 Diet Cokes.
I want the corner table where we are going to be, and Bill wants his usual all ready to go. Yeah. But he always used to like to pull that. That was the big
Of course.
joke. This is not known yet throughout the football community.
He had the info. He had it. Well, I think I'll see Mike probably in Saratoga. Going up there for the Belmont. That's the next time Vinny's going to race Golden Tempo, it looks like. The horse that won the Kentucky Derby. You want to come? That's your neighborhood, of course.
Saratoga is.
Oh, I know you love it there.
That is a great horse track, and I'm not into it.
No, I know. And they're going to hold the Belmont there for the last time this year. They're going to rebuild the actual Belmont track. It's back there next year. So this summer we get the third and final leg of the Triple Crown up in Saratoga. Rick Pitino will be there. Bill Parcells, Mike Francesa, and Sid and Lou. How about that? And Keith and Mark and all these other great guys.
Yeah, I'll just watch on TV. So.
That'll be fine for you.
Yeah,
a pool or a pond? I think a pond is probably better for you.
You can babysit Elizabeth's kid.
Right, there you go.
You can take Elizabeth's
right,
kid.
Right, sure. Maybe Pipko and Darren will come with us, and you can change the diaper. All right, we're done for today.
Babysitter, Alex.
Lou Rapino.
A couple of horses you don't know about. I do, and I'll tell you later.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
I got into a Genesis. This is luxury. Whether it's a sleek G70 or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.